right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock to check-in. Come on, let's go. It's the AM nasty big hello. It's not static AM radio. It's the cool bed red hot Nielson show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
$6:05 on a Monday morning. Am I right? Mondays, right?
Mondays.
Tell
them all about
Louise.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
my
you-
computer wouldn't properly play the 6 o'clocker check-in, so YouTube Trev had to save the day. And now I'm all rattled because I had to restart my computer right before we went on the air. Actually, I was in here yesterday. I came in to kind of just at home. I can kind of get work done, but
Yeah.
there's always something going on. So I came in here yesterday for about 4 hours trying to catch up on a bunch of off-air stuff, and I had to restart my computer then, and it did like 45 minutes of bloody updates, and now this morning, same type of thing. So that being said, no shortage of things to discuss coming out of the weekend. My goodness.
How about that skills competition?
Oh, sports, you've done it again. Yeah, skills competition. We went. Marshall's hockey team all had tickets, so that's why we went. I wouldn't have gone otherwise. Marshall and Lemuz enjoyed it. A little disappointing that McDavid was sick and couldn't be there. Although the disrespect for Matthias Janmark also not being there was, nobody was like, whoa, where's Matthias Janmark?
Yeah, I mean,
all the kids
yeah.
were just like, where's Connor?
He would have been
Where's
capping
Connor?
into that fastest skater, hey?
Well, it's funny. They did half a lap and just clocked total high speed. Kapanen went 40 kilometers an hour and won the event, but
That should have been Janmark's.
didn't even get
Damn
a
it.
full lap in. Didn't even get a full lap in. Hardest shot, Bouchard didn't. I guess it was great for kids. I mean,
You're not reading into the team white, almost doubling up team blue in the final. No, that doesn't. sound speaking to you. You're not reading anything into that, are you?
I mean, overall, I'll just say it was kind of a dud. You know, like zero energy. Like the entire thing had a Kucherov All-Star game vibe to it.
That's a good.
You know
way
what
to
I
put
mean?
it.
Like that's just kind of how it was. So. Whatever. We're not going to talk about the skills and drills yesterday.
A little more time on the ice for Klingberg, though, hey?
Too many other things. Klingberg.
Hey,
I will say
he'll take the time whenever
in
he
his
can get
first
it.
round of accuracy shooting, he did go 4 for 4.
Well, okay.
So you got that going for you this morning.
Defeating Troy Stetcher, who went 0 for 3.
Yeah, Stetcher not great at the accuracy shooting. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the draw. He was draw benefit in that, right? Like,
That's what it is.
yeah.
I mean, that accuracy shooting basically came down to the draw.
Yeah.
When Nuge and Brown in the final of the accuracy shooting, Connor Brown with his first shot took out one of Nugent Hopkins' targets.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if he knew he did it or not, but Nuge then, just to be a nice guy, took out one of his own targets, or one of one of his own targets for Connor Brown because they were taking out each other's targets or
Bit of a
however.
team building event, I guess.
That was a key moment.
Good vibes, yeah.
If/when they win the Stanley Cup, I'll look back to Nuge giving that moment back to Connor Brown as a pretty big building block for the team. So I guess there was that coming out of there.
So Nuge gives the cup to Connor Brown.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that
and then
progression is going to go.
Trevor, are you familiar with Nick the goalie? Have you seen this guy?
No, I have not.
Okay. Apparently he's got like 500,000 Instagram followers and he's like a rec league goalie. Anyway, he was the goalie for this shootout showdown. And I couldn't tell if he was being brutal because of a shtick, but I mean, they pretty much all scored on him with like just shooting it. Like it was kind of funny. Seemed like a really nice guy though, but I'm not familiar with Nick the goalie. Got a pretty good round of applause though when he was announced.
It's got to be better than Skinner, am I right?
I'm surprised nobody tweeted at me after I said, "Hey, do you think they should sign Nick the goalie?"
Paris Drewler's inbox is
it already hopping today?
There's a few lights in there about Saturday night.
I wouldn't know because of my computer.
Oh, you can't even get in there? I thought it was just the sound.
I'm going to see what happens now. We're just reloading this thing. But yeah, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Let's see. Moment of truth here. Will this play now? Nope. Still not playing out of this program. Huh.
We'll fix it together here. I'm sure we'll. Nasties will will it over the line.
That or I'll lose it. One or the other. All right, we'll get to more of your text message. If you're watching over YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up. We have, I mean, what a day, what a weekend overall.
What a weekend, yeah. Rory McIlroy.
Well, I mean, totally lost in the shuffle. Usually usually we'd get a few minutes out of Rory winning
this
at
weekend
Pebble.
with the the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the Pro Bowl. What a we called that, I think, Iwonics weekend, like
Malik Neighbors front flipped into a foam pit.
Sure.
But we're probably not going to have time to discuss it.
Too much going on Pro Bowl weekend.
Today on the show. Yeah, how dare the NBA steal the Pro Bowl's thunder? Like, that's just very, very disrespectful. All right, keep the text messages rolling in today. And, oh boy, RBM is very fired up. We will get into... We'll get into that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, the moods are interesting today. Oh, yeah. And somebody said Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Nobody saw that coming. Jey Uso.
There's another thing that I didn't. Really.
All of it. Holy smokes.
Up on the
people saying yeet, yeet. Is that a Jey Uso thing? It must be a Jey Uso thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not aware.
Maybe there's a little bit of Grammy chatter, I think, too. RCN wants Grammy talk.
You know what? I cannot tell you who won a Grammy.
I saw Will Smith. He was up with a microphone.
Come on.
Yeah, he was talking. He was thanking somebody. Kelsey Grammer or one of those people.
So he's uncanceled now?
I don't know.
All right.
I didn't really.
Good to know. Yeah. The Nielson Show is brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. They've got those 2025 tracks on right now. $148 bi-weekly for a new ride. Less than $150 every 2 weeks to get yourself into a brand new vehicle. Check all the websites. Check all their details at the website, www.southfortchev.com. Oilers Leafs, interesting hockey game. We'll get to that as we work our way through the show today.
It's always one of those weekends where you want to be I was a mall rat this weekend, and the amount of Leafs people just kind of roaming around.
Oh man, so many around and
yeah.
Ed Hervey signed pretty much everybody, just going full-blown Oprah with contracts yesterday.
Look, it's the Ed Hervey tampering window.
You get a deal.
It's his window, for crying out loud.
It's like nobody else was doing anything yesterday.
He's back in the GM seat, and he let it be known, yeah.
We're going to fully dive into it with That's Good around 7:30, but let me know if I'm missing anybody. Jake Serezna, Brinkman, Robbie Smith, 3 members of the Argos defensive line.
Rings, baby,
coming
rings,
over.
Right?
Grey Cup champions. They bring
golden passports as well.
Royce Mechie, who actually, starting last year, wanted his last name to be pronounced Metier.
So are we going with Metier?
Well, I was told last year Metier.
He's screwing with my copy.
Yeah, I think his mom told him that she wanted it pronounced Metier. So we were going Royce Metier last
There's no
season.
R on the end of his name.
I know. It doesn't make sense to me. But I was told during the CFL season last year, it's Royce Metier. Julian Grant, Canadian wide receiver, Grey Cup ring.
Some burners, yeah.
David Beard is coming back to anchor that offensive line. People suggesting Mark Corte will slide over to guard. Brett Boyko, who was just released a few days ago, he gets a new deal to come back on the offensive line as well. And then the big one, Trey Ford's twin brother,
Oh,
Terrell
I don't think
Ford.
that's the big one.
Who else am I missing?
Niles Morgan,
Oh, yeah,
baby.
they keep Niles Morgan for 2
You
years.
could argue, I mean,
No.
they're both big. But
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a big one, too. The thing with Terrell Ford is one of, if not the best corner in the Canadian Football League, and he's a Canadian.
the golden passport matters so much in a lot of these, right? Like, they've had a good mix of Americans, but a lot of these Canadians with already, like, cup-winning pedigree. Hell of a day. Grey Cups aren't won in February. But I think where this franchise was and needing all the pop that they've generated off the field with the appointments of, Hervey being one of them, Killam, the rest, you needed a window like this. And Hervey's delivered.
I think it's pretty positive momentum for the organization that Serena was like, yeah, I'm coming back. Like, he was here, saw what it was. They traded him away, and, not that long ago. And just like that, Ed Hervey's been like, yeah, okay, you're coming back.
There's pull now. People want to be a part of the project, and this is without even seeing what the project is yet on the field.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, as I mentioned, somebody did impose the double E on the Toronto boat sail logo, which I found rather cute. They changed the colors to green and gold. But yeah, I mean, whenever you can go and raid a Grey Cup winner, I mean, that doesn't hurt either. A lot of these guys, as I mentioned, come with pedigree, come with rings, and the passports don't hurt either.
All right, and then we get to the big news.
Ah, yes.
Where were you on Saturday night around, 10:30, 11, when this thing went down? How did you find out about the Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis deal?
I was in bed Sunday morning.
That's when you found out about it?
I woke up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what's worse, late at night when you've maybe had whatever state you're in, or the waking up. Because you're still not fully, you're, what the hell is this?
That's true.
Like, seeing big news when you wake up first thing, that's a real, that's a head spinner.
I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was in the middle of brushing my teeth, actually.
Oh, so you were just close.
And I get a text from my buddy, Eddie the Gambler. And it's just a screen cap of the deal. He goes, this can't be real. And the first thing I thought was, okay, Sham's account has been hacked. Because if I would have hacked his account, that's like the exact deal I would have come up with. Like, you know what? If you're going to hack an NBA insider's account, you're going to trade Luka Doncic.
And you were shopping AD the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's just, I still technically can't believe this went down on so many different levels. It's one of the most significantly shocking trades that we've seen since the Gretzky trade. I had a bunch of people yesterday trying to chime in. One guy was like, Hall for Larson. I was like, look, Hall for Larson was a pretty shocking trade, but in this market, but let's be honest. I mean, it pales in comparison to what went down in the NBA. Luka Doncic, the first thing I thought of was, first of all, he was hacked. And then B, okay, what's up with Luka? Because why in the world would the Dallas Mavericks trade a 25-year-old who's a perennial MVP, top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guy every single year? Last year, the dude averaged like 33, 9, and 9. He's banged up right now, expected back right after the All-Star break. That part didn't make a lot of sense to me. The Lakers getting Luka is interesting because he and LeBron are now. Luka thinks very highly of LeBron. LeBron has mentioned a number of times. Luka is by far the one guy in the league that plays a similar style. So they play very similar styles. I've mentioned 1,000 times on this show that outside of LeBron, Luka is my next favorite guy in the league to watch. Yeah. So now when LeBron retires, I'll just be rolling with Luka and the Lakers. I mean, it made my decision easy once the king calls her quits.
You're both very similar in your build, in your makeup. Like
me and Luka, yeah. Yeah, actually, when I saw them running some of the numbers on him, I was just wow, he's
your
bigger
guy.
boy. Anyway, I'm fascinated to see how those two work together. I think they're both smart enough to make it work, even as ball-dominant players. But we were just talking last week on whether it's on the air or off the air. The Los Angeles Lakers were still looking to get bigger when they had Anthony Davis. Now they trade away Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
They have to go out and get a center before the trade deadline, or else, I mean, you're not expecting. I listened to 3 different NBA podcasts yesterday, and they were legitimately asking, like, are the Lakers better or worse after this trade on the way that they're currently constructed now?
Sure.
And they need to go out and find a center. And the reaction on the other side, don't get me wrong, I think it's insane for the Mavericks to trade Luka Doncic. But I'll do a little bit of a but here. First of all, they should have got more. They should have got more. I mean, De'Aaron Fox was moved in a deal yesterday. 3 firsts and 3 seconds were involved, and Zach LaVine. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. So they should have got more. But from a roster construction standpoint, Anthony Davis, who's averaging 25 and 12 this year, just had a 21-point first quarter. Like Anthony, a lot of people are talking like Anthony Davis is washed. Anthony Davis isn't washed yet. He's 6 years older than Luka Doncic, but Anthony Davis can still play. So you're going to put Kyrie with AD. You got Klay Thompson mixed in there still. Like, I don't hate it from a roster construction standpoint.
Sure.
For the Mavericks. That being said, I still think it's absolutely insane that you would move a 25-year-old player in Luka Doncic. And then also, don't sleep on Max Christie. I think Max Christie's going to be a good player. Like, he's better than the other 2 guys that the Lakers got.
Dig deep.
But I still can't believe this all went down. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Trev, Eric found out Sunday morning when he woke up. How did this trade come across your plate?
Full detail
on Saturday.
What were you doing?
You were pretty relaxed at the time, were you not?
What were you on?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a few beers in. and I was kind of just chilling on the couch. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I can say. Can I say if I had a gummy or not?
Yeah.
I think you can.
It's legal, man. It's
legal.
okay.
It's legal.
I may have had a gummy, and I was kind of just chilling there watching some TV. And then all of a sudden, like I'm feeling good, right? I'm feeling good. Got a decent buzz, and then all of a sudden, I scroll on my phone and I see this trade. I'm like, no way. Is this actually happening right now? And the first thing I did was go to your Twitter. I'm like, holy crap, it's actually happening. It was the craziest thing. I couldn't believe it. So after reading Dusty's, I was just so intrigued. I had to hear your thoughts like right out of the gate. So I was reading your tweets and I was like, damn, like this is legit. And then, and wake up the next morning and it was real life. It actually happened. But I mean, as far as trades go, like in my lifetime, that's probably the biggest. Like I've never seen anything like that. No, I don't think
the Hall Larson for you.
It definitely beats it definitely beats Hall Larson. And then it's just crazy. You saw what the NHL did last week, and then the NBA this week. It's like hold my beer, So it's insane. But I was blown away. I didn't believe it at first, boys.
So you're just saying from a roster construction point of view, and I
look from what
you saw the stat hole tweet, right?
No.
Luka Doncic is exactly 300 points shy of Michael Finley's 12,389 franchise points for the Mavs.
So you think they were protecting Michael
Finley
Finley's
is an
record?
assistant GM for the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, I love that
There's got to be a reason, right? Like
I love that theory.
It doesn't make any sense.
Quaddy over in the Nasty Chat's claiming that the NBA forced this deal through to save itself.
There you go. Yeah.
I do like the real reasons
exactly
that the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic. Get creative with them. Hit us up, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Andrews in it says, as a Mavs fan, we got one. As a Mavs fan, I do not know what Dallas is doing. They were worried about Luka's injury history, so they go and get Anthony Davis. What are we doing? It's just bonkers. Bonkers is a good way to describe this deal. Dr. J in the chat says, guys, is this more shocking than Cody Ceci to Dallas? Yeah, Cody Ceci and Granlund to Dallas over the weekend as well. So there's that. Where were you when you heard about the Ceci Granlund deal? Flying under the radar a little bit. Bones is in and says, are you guys trading Reed Wilkins before he can sign a Supermax? I don't think so.
Off the block, hey?
I think Reed is already signed to the max he will get.
You will release him before the signing bonus kicks in.
He can never leave.
Or the bonus. Yeah.
Though some of the responses I saw, some of the reaction yesterday online to this deal, Luka's conditioning, they worry about that. The Supermax contract would have given him $365 million over 5 years. I guess they didn't want to do that. But I did see I think it was like 2 years ago, I saw a tweet. Somebody's like, this was 2 years ago. They had Luka, they had Porzingis, and they had Jalen Brunson in Dallas. Now you've gotten a little bit older with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
But Dallas is still going to be a very good team. Like I think AD will work well with Kyrie. The pick and rolls that you can get going with Kyrie, and then you have the, waiting in the corner, Klay Thompson. I can't believe you would trade Luka Doncic without letting it be known to other teams that you're in the market for Luka Doncic. Like somebody would have given you 7 first-round picks.
Well, you've been there. It's that late night fantasy. Submit.
Yeah.
Without even, and then you're like, oh, geez.
Oh, some of the reaction was great.
But 8-2 Lakers in the last 10. Who do you want? Thursday's the deadline. Like, what's the next? What's the next thing?
They need a center. They need a big.
Yeah, but do you identified? Do you see somebody that would fit right now with AD out of the picture?
In a weird twist, they need somebody who can defend against AD in a playoff series. You know, like that's what they need to. If this is about this year, which it isn't, like this is about having Luka as the face of the Lakers for the next decade. Yeah. But if they want it to be about this year, if they can acquire a center of somewhat significance to at least clog up the middle and rebound, then they'll be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned they went into New York at MSG, beat the Knicks so badly that Bronny James got into the game and got some points. LeBron with another 30-point triple-double at MSG as a 40-year-old. It's ridiculous.
Like they're hanging in there, and where they're at right now, you kind of, I know the Doncic move is for the future, but you can also keep an eye on today. Why not?
I mean,
when you're at, I mean,
he took a team to the finals last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now he's running with LeBron.
You're never out of it.
Get a big, see where he goes this year. You've got Luka moving forward. So, just an insane deal, though. I absolutely love the NBA for these reasons. The real reason the Mavs traded Luka, Herb's hoses and says the real reason the Mavs traded Luka was because he told them that he wanted to become a professional hot dog eating champion, and that was the reason. Lacombe Drew says Pagnotta broke the Granlund trade on Hello Hockey. Man, I didn't even know that.
Yes,
that's incredible. It sucks to be a Mavs fan.
Sort of cobbled text with the Canucks involved. I don't really understand
it.
it.
sent me a Valentine's Day song.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah,
Did you get that?
Yeah. About the same time as the Doncic trade, bro.
Yeah. I think he refers to Valentine's Day as Valentine's Day.
Oh, you listen?
But I got time for it.
You got time for it? Yeah.
I kind of listened to it a little bit. It starts not bad. It's actually the first part's kind. I didn't listen to all of it.
Yeah.
But
our crooner, Latif,
I got a little bit of a taste of it. All right, 780-218-9999. If you are watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We are 30 away from changing 100. Seabass says Lakers gifted another generational talent. You know what? It's I think the best tweet I saw about this. Then there was a bunch of good ones. I liked the one. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Man, a lot of good CFL stuff yesterday. Yeah, this one from Tony on X. Tony, imagine the phone call. Mavs, hello, we want AD. Lakers, sorry, not available. Mavs, for Luka? Lakers, AD will be there in the morning. Just like,
that'll change it.
That was a good one. This is another good one. This was actually from Leuenberg, who I tried to get on the show today, but he had an appointment. The Mavericks called the Lakers, offered Luka Doncic, and that's when the Lakers had to huddle internally. And then he has the huddle, and it's the gift from Wedding Crashers when the guys are blowing up the champagne at the party. Like, yes, here we go. That one did very well. There was a lot of good ones. But the fact that the Mavs called the Lakers and said, "Hey, we want to trade you, Luka." Can you imagine getting that phone call?
Well,
if you're any team in the NBA.
The loose quote is we think defense wins championships, and that's what Nico Harrison was preaching. So
Anthony Davis is a significantly, by far, not even close or in the same conversation defender than Luka Doncic.
Wouldn't it be something?
And he's averaging 25 and like 11 and a half this year. So.
Addressing team needs ahead of, popularity and such. Sucks for Luka, and it took him by surprise too. I mean, it was one of those things where he penned a nice, heartfelt letter to the fans of the Mavericks and everything like that. I mean, he went through some times there's some ups and some downs, but him not even really knowing, like a star of that caliber, not even having a whisper within your own organization is quite something. I mean, it's unheard of these days, right?
Yeah.
Like.
That is kind of insane. Like,
yeah. And
LeBron
he's
found out at dinner in New York City.
And he's really a guy without any warts. Like, he's just a regular guy. Like, it's not like there's ever been anything. I mean, the injury stuff, I mean, I guess you could mention, but.
It's crazy. Yeah, Luka. I can't wait to see them play together. I think it's going to be pretty phenomenal. They're probably going to give up about 120 points per game. But maybe they score 122.
Well, it's like the Oilers on the court. Lacombe Drew, Luka actually demanded a trade delay so that he and Anze Kopitar can finally move in together and start a Slovenian Pro Stars reality show.
I like that.
I think that, yeah.
Lacombe Drew?
Yeah.
Those are good ones.
That's got to be top. That's where
the real reason the Mavs traded Luka. Keep those coming in. Lacombe Drew, that's a pretty good one. All right, let's lay out the show for you because we have lots coming down the pipe here today. Lots of good hockey content. Dreger's going to join us just after 7. Ryan Rishaug at 8:30 today, so we'll get into that. We've got That Hurts for James H. Brown coming up. Sanctions coming against Tommy Gazzola. We'll recap the Handsome Man draft. We got a champion over here.
Yeah.
In Lieutenant Eric.
I may not know sports, but I sure know my way around a handsome man.
You sure know handsome man.
Oh, boy.
The good, bad, and ugly from the weekend for Play More Tables and Games.
Lots to get to, and we'll be feasting during the
good, bad, and ugly. Oh,
yeah,
man.
There's lots of...
Dregs is going to join us. We'll get to your Super Bowl bet of the day. We'll have a bet of the day every single day of the week because it is Super Bowl. Like, usually, we just be like, okay, Super Bowl week's here, but there's too much stuff to get to today.
Yeah, and you will recap your Pro Bowl props.
I'm down 5 units on the Pro Bowl. That's a good around 7:30 today. We'll dive into the Elks signing, and we'll do it over some crackers, cheese, and meat, boys.
You did it.
I did it.
You brilliant bastard.
There is a tray of crackers and meat and cheese sitting in the fridge over there as a surprise to you. I wanted to do it this week. You know, sometimes we'll come up with things and then it falls by the wayside. I was like, no, we are making this crackers, meat, and cheese week. Leading up to the Super Bowl.
Happy February.
I've got some.
Happy February.
How about this? I've got some garlic sausage waiting over there. And it's already cut up and plated. I did it this morning. I've got some garlic sausage. I've got double smoked cheddar.
That's the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Wait,
spare no expense, eh?
It's spare no expense.
Spare no expense.
The Fan Zone for fansfirst.ca. The Edmonton Oilers miss out on Pettersson. The Canucks now have 3 of them, if you can believe it. Are they waiting too long to pull the trigger on a significant deal? We'll get into that around 7:45 today. 3 questions too many, kind of easy trivia. Ryan Rishaug from the Got Your Back podcast, Marmot Basin Snow Report, and the wrap for William Huff. So, yes, we've got lots to get to as we work our way through the show this morning. Let me try another thing here. Let me see if I can at least play. I'm trying to do process of elimination here. Can I at least play this?
Yeah.
That's playing, but it's not playing.
We're getting closer, though. Hey.
Nobody knows what's going on. Anyway, Trev, you're the audio captain now. Let's get to a sports update for Nisku Glass with Lieutenant Eric.
The Edmonton Elks agreeing to terms with a handful of players as the CFL free agent tampering window opened yesterday. American defensive lineman Jake Serezna and Jared Brinkman from the Argos, while Canadian Robbie Smith also joining from Toronto. Canadian safety Royce Metier also committed to a 2-year deal from the Boatmen. Canadian offensive lineman David Beard rejoins the club from Hamilton. Canadian defensive back Tyrell Ford linking up with his brother Trey on a reported 1-year deal. Elks also signing American linebacker Niles Morgan and Canadian offensive lineman Brett Boyko. Over to the NBA, Sacramento Kings are finalizing a trade to send a De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs and acquire Bulls guard Zach LaVine as part of a 3-team trade involving multiple players and picks. This follows the mammoth deal over the weekend with the Mavs shipping Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. The trade deadline in the NBA will fall this Thursday. On the court, the Raptors 115-108 over the Clippers. Toronto will get set to host the Knicks tomorrow. Over to the NHL. Busy day yesterday. Rangers rally past Vegas 4-2. Jonathan Quick, career win 400. Morgan Frost notched his first as a Flame as Calgary would hold off Seattle 3-2. Alex DeBrincat, he had a pair, including the overtime winner. Detroit over Vancouver 3-2. Avalanche shutting out Philly 2-0. Stars topping the Blue Jackets 5-3. Dallas have won 5 straight. And the Blues snap a 4-game slide with a 2-1 win over Utah. Oilers visiting St. Louis tomorrow. Yesterday, it was Team White with a 37-21 victory over Team Blue in the Oilers' skills competition down at Rogers Place. Phoebe Stetcher would also take home top spot in the rough relay. One game in the NHL tonight will see Nashville at home to Ottawa. Sports Update brought to you by Nisku Glass. We want to thank EST and all the listeners and viewers. And what better way than to give them a deal? Mention Edmonton Sports Talk or present your Nasty Club membership for a 10% discount on windshields, glass, or any of your window and door orders. Call us today to get that ugly broken windshield replaced or to start planning your winter and spring renovation projects now.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
6:33 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here today. Nielson Show today and every day. Brought to you by South Ford Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. If you're looking for a family-friendly, pressure-free vehicle buying experience, Daniel and the team out of South Ford Chevrolet will get it done for you. Check out their website, www.southfordchev.com. We're coming at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio today. They've got their new value menu, 5-piece nugs, fried pickles, mini chicken wrap, mini chicken sandwich, or blackened cauliflower, all for $4 plus tax. Perfect little snackable items so they can round out your favorite Popeyes meal. Man, I can't get any sound to come off this. Not even through the board. It's just in general.
I mean, YouTube Trev could probably say, makes my day. You know, I could give you a rim shot. We could kind of all...
Makes my day.
You know, we all kind of lend a hand here. And
if anybody has any tips on when, because I disconnected from this little box and just tried to play it off the speakers, and still nothing came off the speakers even.
Did you...
Mystery continues.
Shut it down.
I've restarted.
Yeah.
Restarted. Did those updates yesterday. I feel like the updates are what's messing with me here. But whatever. Look, we got too much to go. We got too much to do today. Can't worry about this now. If you're watching over on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. We would appreciate that. We're going to get into the Others and Leafs quite a bit with Darren Dreger just after 7 o'clock, but you can share your initial thoughts on that game with us as well. Postgame was a wild time. There's a big... I even had to chime in and... look...
Did you put the hammer down?
No, I didn't.
You had to go in there and do some spanking.
No, I did disagree a little, but this is good. I mean, I disagreed a little bit with the boys were saying.
Yeah.
Because I thought Stuart Skinner was the least valuable player in that hockey game. And there's a difference between thinking Stuart Skinner is the least valuable player and absolutely hanging it on him.
In a particular game.
Yeah, but I felt that, this is how you have to operate. We can't sit here and defend him all the time. That is the exact opposite of the guys who blame him for absolutely everything. You need to have a fair take on him. Stuart Skinner was not good on Saturday night. He needed to be better on Saturday night. It's as simple as that. You have to call a spade a spade. And I thought he needed to be better on Saturday night. And I know there's people who claim after every single game that he lets them down.
Yes,
you can't be those. You can't be that guy. But
after a stretch of good games,
they shut up. We can't be the people who are I can't defend him all the time because then it looks bad the other way.
Yeah.
You have to just be honest and bottom line is he should have handled the puck better on Saturday night. Simple as that. Now what's funny is that when those people hop on to criticize him after that game, it means less to me because they're there to criticize him after every single game. But yeah, he needed to be better. The team needed to have a better start in that hockey game as well. This text is in and says, guys, Windows 11 update. Took my laptop 1 week to recover from that update.
What? 1 week? To get better? How does
1 week to actually recover? I agree with Tube Socks. From a neutral viewer's perspective, that was an entertaining hockey game to watch.
Canada. It's two Canadian teams at the best of their abilities right now going at it. But
you got my goat on the call in Cuthbert.
Yeah,
it was great to just sit back and watch that hockey game. Let's be honest, it was a fun game to watch. You just didn't like how it turned out for the Oilers, but in the end, it's not the end of the world.
Let him have the regular season battles.
Joseph Wall was incredible too.
Yeah, Eastern Conference opponent. I think Tube Socks pointed that out as well. Vegas lost yesterday.
The Oilers, as of this morning, are technically in first with a game in hand.
Yeah.
So you got that going for you as
And
well.
tomorrow, the Broberg Holloway Kapanen Bowl down in Old St. Louis.
Oh, we'll find out who really won those deals now.
I
right?
think so.
Bill, the teacher's in says, morning, gents. I'd love to know your opinions on the lack of coverage by the Edmonton Journal on all the great work Ed did building the Elks. Not a word anywhere from the Journal, just brutal. Well, Bill.
I think it's an American publication. Isn't it?
I mean, I just, to be honest with you, I was surprised you even mentioned the newspaper today. So, Bill, if you go to the newspaper expecting to get stuff on the Elks, you're gone to the wrong place, man. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, let's get into that hurts for James H. Brown.
Yes, let's.
If you've been in an accident,
like Tommy was on Friday,
the heavy hitters of injury law, they'll look after you. They will get you the settlement you deserve because they have over 200 years of experience. That's a long time. Visit them today at jameshbrown.com to book your private consultation. All right, so congratulations on the win in the Handsome Man draft. Despite the injustices that were done to you during the draft,
I prevailed.
You come away with the dub.
Yeah, I prevailed.
You come away with the dub. So here's what goes down. In the end, if we just had the Twitter vote this time, Tommy Gazzola would have been relegated.
Commissioner Quinn said, 12.5 was the threshold?
12.5. Tommy ended up with 12% of the vote, I believe. But this was the first time ever we threw Instagram voting into the mix. And I did not do well on the Instagram vote. Tommy did wonderfully on the Instagram vote.
He was doing wonderfully.
He was doing wonderfully. So I'm sitting around watching a movie on Friday night, and I pop on Instagram, check things out. Tommy's story pops up, and I click on a couple of them. And the one is like a screen cap of his team being like, go vote right now for the draft. And it's his team screen cap. It's like number 3.
Yeah, and all gifs pointing at it.
And then you go to the next screen cap and it's like, I voted. And it's the number 3 and it's a guy dancing. And I was like, wait a second here. When have we ever been able to go on social media and make a plea for our team to get votes?
Never.
It's never been. You said
Never
you might
happened.
have done it one time a long time ago.
I maybe tampered a bit, but who hasn't been guilty of tampering a bit?
So Tommy's dead last on Twitter. He's got this great bump on Instagram. And you go and look at his social feed and he's like, vote for 3. Vote for 3.
And it was completely switched over. Like, that didn't add up.
No, Tommy went from 12% on Twitter to like 30% of the vote on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I screen cap and I said it to the group. I said, hey, what's going on here? Like, we've never done, this is why when we put the votes up, we don't put names on them, right? It's team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. We want to be as unbiased in the voting as possible. So I bring it to the group's attention. I was just like, hey, what's going on here? I didn't think, and then Tommy's like, well, there's no official rules. And Glue Guy chimes in with, it's been a gentleman's agreement between all of us. He goes, well, there's nothing. Where is that group chat? Where's my phone right now?
It was lit.
It was fired up. It was quite something. Yeah. Like, I was this close to, because I can stream from my home computer.
We should release the transcript.
I was this close to going,
page it
being
in.
like, hey guys, let's just hop on from our houses right now. I'll set up a 4-shot and we can just discuss this. Because, the Commissioner Quinn was in on here as well.
It was lengthy.
Oh man, this was
lengthy and drawn out. Yeah. I just kept adding that emoji with the
I like my one text where I said, so you do not deny the allegations.
Oh no. Well, then what was the action afterwards? I mean, it was pretty much an admission of guilt to when he took them down.
Well, so then Tommy goes, where does he goes, I have removed the posts.
We got him.
Yeah, and then I was just like, I said, so interesting.
So you think they're
you've removed them. The commish is thinking about possible sanctions here as well. After
fines.
Tommy goes on Instagram and pleads for votes that ended up helping him not get relegated because of his horribly bad Twitter vote.
After he took down the posts, though, did you see the final numbers for that Instagram vote? He swung back down to like 13.
No, he didn't.
I swear to you, I saw the final ones. I won on both. And I was losing.
A convincing victory.
I was losing on Instagram at the point when Tommy was at his height and his promotion. When he took that down, it swayed the other way, so I don't know how that happened, but
I almost SG'd him right now. I almost did it. It almost frustrated me so much. I almost said, Tommy, stop being an SG.
That is SG behavior.
Very much.
Yeah.
Very much.
I'm excited to see what this punishment would be.
Well, what do you think? What do you think that Trev, what are your thoughts on all of this? Right? You've been with us since we started doing the drafts over here. I think it has been a gentleman's agreement for quite some time that we don't go on
You were
social
in a
media
draft
and plead
as a
for
proxy. Yeah.
You did proxy for me.
Correct.
As you hear everything that went down on Friday night in our group text, well, how do you come out on this? If you were ruling on this as the commish, what would your thought process be?
Yeah, this is not a good look from Tommy. You don't do this. It's a gentleman. I have the utmost respect for gentleman's agreement. That's something that's, stands the test of time. The gentleman's agreement. I don't know when it started, but that is something you just have to respect. And for someone, it just shows like Tommy's a little desperate, It shows like, oh, maybe he doesn't know handsome or not handsome. I don't know, but
he needed this
to
draft.
Me, he needed
in terms
this.
of the handsome.
This is the
He was
one.
obviously desperate for it.
Yeah.
He's wanted drafts. He wants every single draft, but I think this is the one that really, that he could fall asleep at night with ease. I personally think, as far as relegation, like I don't know what will happen, but I think something needs to happen because he's been in this for how many drafts has he done?
He's been doing drafts since the old place. He knows we don't do social media promotion of our own teams.
You can't do this, and the fact that there's that guilt. Like you guys,
but he eliminated the posts. He's like, they have been taken down.
Yeah, he's like, shucks, like, and what if you guys weren't on? What if you didn't catch that? Hey, you ever think about that?
Oh yeah,
you missed it.
Yeah,
and then
if I didn't hop on at that time and go on his stories
and be like, hey, what the heck is this?
vote,
yeah,
vote.
Like, how many gifts do you need on a story, Tommy? So kudos to Dusty for catching it. But I mean, that's huge. And gentleman's agreements, like that's a fine line. You just don't want to cross it, and he did. So I think the commission needs to step down here, or not step down. Sorry, not step down. Put her foot down. That's what I meant. Put her foot down. I think she needs to lay down the law because you can't have this. Tommy on the loose. Like what next? This is just not something you need. Next draft, everyone's going to be doing it. So you got to lay down the law. And I expect the commish will.
We've never had these problems before because the vote has never been taken to Instagram.
And whose brilliant idea
that was the
this?
commission's idea.
Mr. Gerbic in the nasty chat, we have a lame duck commish. Nothing will get done. People are saying Maddie should be in there. Somebody's calling for Trev for commish. Rip City Step.
Pretty significant change to just make willy-nilly from the commish to throw it over to the wild world of Instagram. And now we see what happened.
It's a wild read for commish that comes in from Big Uke.
Lots of good text messages on this.
I like how the commish is getting more heat than Tommy. Yeah. Tommy just slides.
Well, I mean, the commish
right through the crack.
The commish
slithering snake.
Decide to take it to Instagram.
You're right. Yeah, he's just taking advantage
knowing
of the,
that something like this probably could happen.
You got to wrangle him in.
Library Pat says, farce. I vote for relegation. It's like preventing a shot for an empty net goal. Solidarity. Do the right thing, Commissioner Quinn.
Tube Sucks is calling Tommy a fraud.
Maybe the next draft he gets like whatever the percentage of votes he gets, subtract that by like 5%.
Oh boy.
Something like that.
Like I mean she could claim all of his votes are fraudulent.
Yeah.
And then base the results on Twitter only, and that would lead to relegation.
Yeah,
I mean, these are different levels.
Would that really be a punishment for Tommy, though?
What's that?
Would that really be a punishment?
No, I think Tommy just be like, oh, I got the day off on the hangout today.
See, because, again, there's that angle, too, that you got to take here. He's mavericking himself.
I'm disappointed in Tommy. I'm not going to lie. I look up to this guy. I'm disappointed.
Sounds like Tommy Gazzola should be suspended for the next draft or lose his first 2 picks. Or something along those lines.
RSO says breaking a gentleman's agreement is worse than breaking a legit rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is. It's respect.
Which is
what do they say in Happy Gilmore? Kick him off the tour, Quinn. Kick him off the tour.
That's good. That's good.
No, keep him on the tour and penalize him heavy.
Colby's suggesting a public stoning. Big Slam Nasty says, Tommy knocked on my door Friday night campaigning for a vote.
He's so good.
That's a good one.
Rip City Step had a poll joke on Instagram about Tommy that
Here's a text. So the commish added Instagram and Tommy gets big support there. Sounds like collusion to me.
Collusion. Yeah.
Wow.
I could see
Interesting.
where that comes from. Yep.
All right. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Barry the Cheater's in. Always a guy you probably want to hear from in a situation like this. Guy who cheated clearly on Kind of Easy Trivia. I don't see anything wrong with what Tommy did. From Barry the Cheater.
Atif thinks Tommy should be EST Butler for a week. in a strange twist.
All right. So anyway, full-blown controversy that we'll have to get Kamish on this show once she has her sanctions ready to roll here, because
she's got to get her house.
She was talking a big game. I mean, she was definitely talking a big game on Friday night. Like she's like, I'm evaluating this, and there will be sanctions.
Did she put out a statement of any kind to address the
no official statement? I don't think.
Rumors going around. I mean, even for job security at this point.
Everybody's still waiting.
That's a shame. It's the silence that's
here's one of the quotes from the commish in the chat. Certainly Instagram wasn't meant to cause this kind of controversy, and as a forward-thinking commissioner who wants nothing but best for EST, I am frustrated that liberties have been taken. Great. That's a very commissionly statement. That's
it's unfortunate this happened.
Here's the other one. This is under official review by the commissioner. I love how she refers to herself almost in third person. This is under official review by the commissioner with rulings and potential sanctions to come. I'm not saying there will be for sure, but I have a lot. I have to take a lot of this in, and absolutely this will unfold in the public realm. So we now wait on you, commish. We now wait on you. The EST Hampton Steve with a statement. The EST Nasties are disappointed, and we share in the frustration over the actions of Big Wiener Gazzola. However, we support him through this process and look forward to having him back in the draft lineup after his upcoming suspension.
Yeah, he looks forward to it as well.
That's well played. Yeah. I like that one. Hampton Steve, well done. All right, keep them coming in. 780-218-9999. Oh, this is a good bit, too. Other places you saw Tommy campaigning for votes.
Godfather?
The Godfather really texted this morning. I seen Tommy by the Fat Frank's hot dog cart at the Canadian Tire on Friday, handing out flyers for votes.
Flyers. QR codes.
Hey, please vote for my Handsome Man team. All right, yeah, keep those coming in. Other ways Tommy was trying to get votes. The draft weasel for the rest of his days.
Or the EST Butler.
He's my butler. 2 away from changing 100. Let's hammer through that, okay? We got Dregs coming up to talk Oilers and Leafs. Let's get into the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. I mean, we kind of just did 20 minutes on an ugly. I mean, somebody made a good point. Breaking a gentleman's agreement is actually worse than breaking a legitimate rule.
But it does show that it should be instituted into a legitimate rule. Like we shouldn't, because now if it's a gentleman's agreement, this is where the gentleman's agreement takes us. It's a wild west of I didn't know. If it's a rule, you broke a rule, you get a punishment. You be the butler.
What will the punishment be? Dun 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 dun. Find out this week. Super Bowl is now taking a back seat to Tommy's punishment.
Yes. A flogging at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
Oh man, we should make him do a walk of shame at the Super Bowl party, from one side of the Sports Bar and Lounge to the other.
Yeah, and then
shame. I can bring a cowbell.
Shame, boo. Throw tomatoes at him. Yeah,
shame. Shit. That's not a bad idea. I got cowbells. We can make this happen. He'll also have to be completely nude.
Yes, pants down to the ankles and just kind of shimmying down.
All right, let's get into the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend for Play More tables and games. From ping pong to pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you can ask for. Visit Canada's Game Room experts, locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at www.playmoregames.ca. You're good from the weekend. What are you going with?
It's tough to look away from the Ed Hervey tampering window and what he did.
Oh man,
that's. I mean, how could you? We talked about this organization needing pops. They've had pops off the field, I think, with all the business they've done. And again, I'll say you can't win. Usually, we've seen teams ball out on free agency The Ottawa Red Blacks come to mind of recent times and days and seasons. It doesn't equate to success directly, but for an organization that needed some good vibes and some good pop and some good reporting, this is one. So does it make them a better team than what they were to finish the season? Yes. I mean, I think if you look at the caliber of player that they went out and got yesterday, you would have to agree with that. So we'll see what happens. But Terrell Ford, Jake Sarezna, I mean, you're really losing a guy like Geno Lewis, which I think a lot of people are okay to make peace with given his price point, and in a situation, in a position where you've also added a lot of other names that I think have a higher ceiling right now and come in a little more cheaper. So I think the work that Ed Hervey did and the team yesterday is got to be the good. It's great. Again, does it translate? Will remain to be seen, but for a tampering window, it's a real good tampering window.
My good from the weekend. I got
that. Where's that? We need that window. Come on. For today, I think it's of all days, the day of days.
Oh, it's so heavy.
Yeah. There it is.
If you look close enough, you can see Ed Hervey shimmering through the glass over here.
Hello, David Beard.
Yeah. All right, CFL tampering window from Nisku Glass, locked and loaded. Man, there's a lot of good Tommy pandering for vote text. My good from the weekend is just the rush you get from a trade like the one we saw on
Saturday.
Especially
when you have stake in the game.
Well, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah.
Like all the hockey insiders were like, oh, like Puckpedia was asking me it was just insane. Puckpedia was asking me questions about it. I was like, what is going on here? It was, it's just, you don't get those moments very often. Like, we will always remember that Eric didn't find out about the news till the next day. I was brushing my teeth and Trev was sitting on his couch on gummies. That's how we remember where that trade was. We'll never forget it. And those moments are good because you don't get many of them in sports. So that was terrific. Nothing against the JT Miller deal, but that was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
All right, you're bad from the weekend.
Bad from the weekend was the Oilers. It's not going to be full ugly, as we mentioned. I mean, there's a lot of things. It's an Eastern opponent. It's a good team. It's hockey night in Canada. It was a bad first period. I mean, they get behind the 8 ball, get behind the Kosh early on, and then you're kind of battling back all game. Made it close in the end, I guess. I mean, there's that offside, and people will be wringing their hands about that.
Wicked shot by Draisaitl taken off the board.
It's bad when it's the Leafs too, right? Like I mentioned earlier, like lots of Leafs fans in town for this one. It's their one game here, and everybody gets a little high for these games. So you got back-to-back original 6 opponents in town leading up to the weekend and during the weekend. But again, bad, not ugly, because right now the Oilers still tied with Vegas for first with a game in hand. Vegas have hit a bit of a rough patch as of late. Oilers still swimming above water. So bad loss, Stuart Skinner, bad night, but not truly ugly.
My bad from the weekend was, he's sick. I'm not blaming him for not being at that skills and drills yesterday, but it was bad for the kids. Like,
sure,
when they were announcing all the players, Marshall's hockey team was like, "Where's McDavid? Where's McDavid? Where's McDavid?" So, I mean, he's sick. He's sick. I don't care. That's totally fine. He has to do what he has to do, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a bit of a buzzkill, for the skills and drills. That's the biggest amount of kids that will ever be at Rogers Place for that event. And Elizabeth was happy because she still got to see the dogs. She thought it was, to be honest with you, the puppies were probably the best part of the entire thing.
Nothing against Phoebe Stetcher.
Phoebe Stetcher moved though.
There are levels to this.
She moved, but it's not even a bad. It's just a buzzkill. It was just a buzzkill that he's not feeling well to make it there yesterday. Corey Perry, Matthias Janmark, obviously Matthias Ekholm. So there's clearly something going around the room right now.
A bug, eh?
I don't know. Did you think he looked like he was sick on Saturday night?
Well, people were
played like 26 minutes or something.
We had people questioning his behavior as well following the Thursday game into Friday. So
yeah, well, maybe a bunch of them are clearly
when you're sick, man. You're
sick. You're sick. I know. I missed 30 shows.
I mean, there are certain degrees. You can have a cold, you can have the sniffles, and you battle through it. But if you're, nothing getting off that.
So not a bad. Like he's got to do what he's got to do. It's just a buzzkill for the kids who were there yesterday.
You did have a week off not too long ago. You could have been sick then.
And you're ugly. You're ugly from the weekend.
Ryan Hartman at it again. You saw the takedown on Stützle. Yeah, he's got a
unnecessary
offered in-person hearing for roughing on Stützle. He's just, he's a rat. He's dirty. I love the if you go to TSN main page, the image they have for him, he looks like Trev on a Saturday night on his couch, but eyes kind of glazed over. Ryan Hartman, we've seen this when the Oilers play the Wild, and we all kind of know this, but he's at it again. It's ugly for him. It's ugly for the league. It's again, you're talking about trades and everything and deals and everything, and it's not even like this is like good, tough hockey. Like this wouldn't even make like a Rock'em Sock'em. This is just like a dirty play. So it's ugly. Ugly from Ryan Hartman, and ugly that taking out a good player in Timmy Stützle.
My ugly is if you were a Mavs fan over the weekend. Did you see this protest?
Yes.
There was a few people protesting.
Yes.
Outside of their stadium. I don't know what they were hoping was going to come of it. But
imagine if they.
Well, no, they're still going to be a very good team.
Exactly, but I mean, again, you're addressing a defensive need there, and so who's to say?
You know what's really crazy?
It'd be quite funny if they were to go farther than the Lakers, some strange universe.
The true ugly that I wanted to get to, though, with the Mavs is their very first game post Doncic. They gave up 91 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Was it 144 final?
Now the Cavs shoot threes like crazy. It ended up being like 144,
101.
Yeah.
But
they scored 91 points in the first half of that basketball game.
Look, it'll take time to implement the...
So that's kind of ugly. You lose, in one weekend, you lose Doncic, your 25-year-old superstar, and then you allow 91 points in the first half against the Cleveland Cavs.
No AD. I'm looking at you, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Time to step up. I'm pretty excited about the reunion between Luka Doncic and Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe that's the reason they went out and got him.
Well, you mentioned the other pieces in the deal too, and there were. I mean, there was a few other names involved, but.
All right, keep the text messages rolling in. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. That's your good, bad, and ugly from the weekend for Play More Tables and Games. And what a weekend it was. We will continue with that conversation. Darren Dreger on the other side to dive into the Oilers and the Leafs. More on the Ed Hervey spectacular weekend as he wastes no time locking guys up.
It's his window, baby.
Yeah. Nobody else really does anything.
No. But again, I mentioned 2019 to you off air.
The Bombers got Peyton Logan.
That's a big ad for them. Yeah, I mean, there were some other...
Solid returner.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it with that's good. The Fan Zone coming up as well. We'll get your Super Bowl bet of the day. But lots to get to, Dregs. We're going to find out. Oilers or Leafs, who will be more busy prior to the deadline? Dun, 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 dun. Let's get to a sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric.
Well, big day for the Edmonton Elks on the opening of the CFL free agent tampering window yesterday. A handful of players agreeing to terms with the club. American defensive lineman Jake Seresna and Jared Brinkman from the Argos. Canadian Robbie Smith also joining from Toronto, while Canadian safety Royce Metier also committed to a 2-year deal from the Grey Cup champions. Canadian offensive lineman David Beard rejoins the club from the Ticats. Canadian defensive back Terrell Ford, he'll be linking up with his brother on a reported 1-year deal. He comes over from the Bombers, while the Elks also signing American linebacker Niles Morgan and Canadian offensive lineman Brett Boyko. Over to the NBA, player movement again following the mammoth deal over the weekend, which saw the Mavericks ship Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, as the Sacramento Kings are finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, while acquiring Bulls guard Zach LaVine as part of a 3-team deal involving multiple players and picks. The NBA trade deadline, it falls this Thursday. On the court yesterday, the Raptors 115-108 over the Clippers. Toronto will host the Knicks tomorrow. Over to the NHL, busy day on the schedule yesterday. Rangers rally past Vegas 4-2. JT Miller getting a goal in that one. Morgan Frost notching his first as a Flame. Calgary would hold off the Kraken 3-2. Alex DeBrincat had a pair, including the overtime winner. Detroit over the Canucks 3-2. Avalanche shutting out Philly 2-0. Stars, they would top the Blue Jackets 5-3. Dallas have won 5 straight. Blues snapping a 4-game slide as they would edge Utah 2-1. Oilers visiting St. Louis tomorrow. Yesterday was Team White with a 37-21 victory over Team Blue in the Oilers skills competition down at Rogers Place. Just the one game in the NHL tonight. That'll be the Predators hosting the Ottawa Senators. Up next, TSN's Darren Dreger joins the Nielson Show to kick off hour number 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Rishaug and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. If it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat us the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapaport, Dreger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the north. All about him being a person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:03 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here today. Dusty and Lieutenant Eric with the YouTube Trev along for the ride as well. Hangout coming up from 9 until 11. I'm assuming Murray McCourt will be in today on the Hangout, and he'll have a lot to say about what's cooking down at Commonwealth, eh?
Oh, he'll have a lot of rants, I'm sure. I mean, the hockey, the Elks,
big
probably even
combo.
a Doncic opinion. Probably.
Yeah, he might actually.
I bet you he comes in with a big Fox Levine. Like that's his thing. Like he's owned that deal right now between the Kings, Bulls.
Nobody's talking about the Zach LaVine trade. He's been reunited with DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
So that's something you can discuss as well. Hang out today from 9 to 11. The Lock Shop from 11 until 12. Oil Stream today with myself and Tommy Gazzola, who has replied to my one tweet tagging him about possible sanctions. And it's with a gif from
The Wrench.
From what's that show? The Back to the Future cartoon. Marty and York and what's the name of that show? Anyway, it says, don't hate the player, hate the game, son. Rick and Morty. So yeah, Tommy's still talking tough, but I don't see him in the chat so far this morning.
Throwing out sons.
Interesting. Anyway, we'll get to that. That conversation will continue. And that's good around 7:30. What a day yesterday for the Double E. The Fan Zone for fansfirst.ca. A little Oilers Blue Line discussion coming up there as well. But we've got lots to get to here on the show. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox, and one of those text messages will win the text of the day. You will get an A&W gift certificate if you win text of the day. Oilers and Leafs on Saturday. We're certainly going to dive into that with Darren Dreger. He's our hockey insider today. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned sports memorabilia and apparel specialists. Check out their upcoming private signings with Oilers Brett Kulak, Matthias Janmark, and Adam Henrique. Janmark, Kulak, and Henrique. Submit your items or select from theirs. Located in Edmonton, the corner of St. Albert Trail on 128th Ave, or online at proamsports.ca. All right, let's bring in Darren Dreger this morning. Dregs, we appreciate the time as always. Don't be distracted by our CFL tampering window. It's been very busy.
See that.
It's been going really well. Ed Hervey yesterday getting a bunch of different guys, so that's why the tampering window's up today. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, but is that a soft tampering window or is that a full tampering window?
Well, this one is full glass. I don't think we could break this one, so I would have to say it's a full tampering.
Hervey could.
Yeah,
Hervey could.
Yeah, Hervey would smash this over his knee with everything that he got done yesterday. You know what, Drakes? I want to start on another sport as well. When you're in the insider breaking business and you see a trade go down out of nowhere of significant implications in Doncic and AD, I mean, I know how we reacted, but what did you think of the way that went down?
Yeah, I mean, automatically you're sitting there going, you're trying to put it in hockey terms, right?
Yes.
And the significance of that. And I guess I'm reminded of the Mikko Rantanen trade to the Carolina Hurricanes. You know, all of us were swirling around Vancouver. We knew that the Carolina Hurricanes were in the market to do something significant. Nobody had Mikko Rantanen on the bingo card at this point of the season. Yeah, you can look at every pending unrestricted free agent. In this case, you're looking at a superstar and conjure up the idea, but no one was talking about it at that point. So, you know, I guess when I see trades like that go down, trades in other sports, it keeps the idea of possibility alive and well. And that's why, we don't often talk about this, but, I'm sure that every general manager has that what if conversation. I laugh, I chuckle, ha ha ha, as I'm about to say this, but how many people do you think actually call Kyle Davidson in Chicago and say, hey, I can't imagine you'll ever get to a place with Bedard in the next couple of years. But if you do, if there's an appetite to go full scale change again, then, those kind of conversations I'm sure take place. And maybe you hit one out of a million. And that's kind of where we're at now.
Darren Dreger with us on the show this morning. Hockey Insider brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel today. We would certainly appreciate that. Leafs and Oilers on Saturday, Hockey Night in Canada, smack dab in the spotlight of the nation. And
what a game.
I saw some people saying that first period Toronto played might have been one of their best of the season. I haven't watched the Leafs enough to agree or disagree with that, but where do you come out on how well they played early in that hockey game?
I would agree with that. I would. There was a sense of urgency and expectation in that game. I mean, Toronto knew that the Oilers were going to be feisty on home ice. They knew that. And, there are so many different layers to the Oilers game. We don't have to go through that now. You've got educated fan base. But, Toronto was well prepared, and it showed right out of the gate. But then post-game, you hear from Craig Berube, the head coach, and there's no doubt that he was thrilled that they secured the win. But it felt like that game was 60 seconds away from maybe not going the way that the Leafs were hoping for. I mean, they squandered the 3-goal lead twice. Yeah. So there were some takeaway concerns for the Maple Leafs. Why, do you start as well as you did? Generate the offense that you did, find a way to build the lead that you did, and then you take your foot off the pedal, right? And so that would be the concern. But the start, that was exactly what they needed. And on top of that, they got the offense. That's been a bit of a question mark of late in Toronto. The goaltending hasn't been a question, but Joseph Woll elevated his game for that one. He was a big reason why Toronto was able to get that 2 points after letting that game sag in the third period.
I was watching our post-game show with Gazzola and Matt Cassian after the game, and obviously Skinner's a very interesting topic in this market. Yeah. Goalies always will be. I just sort of wanted to ask, maybe I'm wrong, but the Oilers are not in the market for a goal. Like, people who keep saying the Oilers need to go out and get, like, Dregs, have you heard anything that this team would be remote? Okay, that's what I just wanted to get. I wanted to get it confirmed. Well, like, it makes no sense.
Well, I haven't heard anything, Dusty, but that's not to say that you don't have those conversations, right? And the majority of teams that don't have a good tandem or depth in that position or a stellar number one would probably have that bigger picture conversation. But again, when you go into pro scouting meetings, and most teams have already been through that, you've got your whiteboards and your presentations, and your pro scouts have identified, okay, here's top of class in this position, goaltending, defense, up front, and center is always isolated, center ice. So then you start putting names down, and you get pretty deep on that list. So I would assume they'd do that in goal as well. What if? Again, we started the conversation with that what if conversation, what if scenario. Beyond that, I don't think so. I'm getting more of, do they need help on the blue line? Is John Klingberg going to work out short-term, long-term? All that time will tell. And more specifically up front, they do need that versatile forward, right? They need a penalty killer. They need a little bit more depth up there. If that player is a center, that's even better, but they need a versatile forward. I have not heard that they're scouring the market looking for a goalie upgrade.
Darren, too, I think you mentioned a passionate, knowledgeable fan base, but sometimes a highly reactive one. I don't know if management shares in that reaction, but missing a guy like Matthias Ekholm Saturday night as well, goes a long way in helping out and bailing out a goaltender, and you look at power play for the Leafs and everything going in. So him making such a difference when sometimes night after night you kind of he kind of hypnotizes you into this, like, you don't mention him as well, and you don't mention him until he does miss a game, and you're like, whoa, there's the big difference. That's the difference maker, and it can cause a lot of other things to happen around him, a la goaltending.
100% accurate. And it goes beyond Ekholm, but in this case, you're talking about a key piece. And then, Oilers fans have grown to really appreciate what Matthias Ekholm brings to the team. And there's a different level of confidence in structure in how the Oilers play when he's in that lineup. And I don't know if Leaf fans in Alberta got a sense of this on Saturday in watching that game, but believe it or not, McCabe is that guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Every team needs an Ekholm and they need a McCabe, and there's different, styles that they can provide. It's not like these guys are off the glass and out every single time. They're high hockey IQ players, and they can generate some offense as well. But you're just that much deeper because when they're on the ice, there's a higher level of IQ that is being established from the D zone moving forward. He knows what his game is. His game is, to again, obviously defend, in your own zone, but, in the neutral zone as well. And then get the puck up to the guys that need the puck up front. And he does it as well as anybody in the league. Not to go down the path of all the good things that Ken Holland did, the bad things that Ken Holland did when general manager of the Edmonton Oilers. That's top of list, isn't it?
Yeah.
That trade has to be top of list. And I remember following that story so closely, and the debate and the criticism and the arguments for Jake Chychrun versus this guy versus that guy, and all of the speculation around, who is the defenseman. And then Kenny walks out with Matthias Ekholm, and now we know. That was just a masterful piece of management there in acquiring Ekholm at the time that they did.
Yeah, if he doesn't acquire him, they're not where they are today. It's
and it's very glaring when he's out of the lineup.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's their best defenseman. That's what they acquired in Ekholm. I think he's their best defenseman. When it comes to these two teams, just as I watched them on, great first period for the Leafs. Oilers, Wool stood on his head for the final 40 minutes. All I could think of was, what are these teams going to look like after the deadline? And I guess my question for you, Dregs, would be, which of these two teams do you see being more active prior to the deadline, or at least trying to be more active?
Well, similar situations. And it's always about what is available and what is your appetite to pay a price, right? So, I talked a little bit about what I think the Oilers are looking for, and that's that versatile forward, a guy who can kill penalties and all of that. Toronto has a more defined need up front, and that's center ice. And so Mikael Granlund goes to the Dallas Stars from the San Jose Sharks along with Cody Ceci. Again, talk about management. That's good work by Jimmy Nill and the Dallas Stars. Now, they had the cap space to pull it off, so that matters. But Granlund is a piece that I know Toronto and lots of teams were swirling around, right? So now he's out of the mix. So, Toronto is looking at lots of rumors around Scott Laughton and the Philadelphia Flyers. Philadelphia doesn't love the idea of trading Laughton because he's a good character guy. I think he's going to get traded. Can Danny Briere get a first-round pick? We're going to find out. But there seems like a more defined need in Toronto than what I said earlier about the Oilers and what they might be doing.
Darren Dreger joining us, TSN, here on the Nielson Show, Edmonton Sports Talk. We do have a Flames troll that always tunes in religiously to us.
Oh, very good.
Can't get enough of us. He's kind of pissed we didn't talk about Farabee and Frost earlier in the hour. But just your thoughts on that as well. And I kind of wanted your thoughts. Obviously, the JT Miller deal out of Vancouver. But your thoughts on the trades that have sprinkled out thus far. And who do you think, we've already seen maybe Philly, but who's going to be your biggest, seller as we approach to or hit the deadline?
That's a good question. Nashville has gone quiet of late, right? So I don't think that Barry Trotz is done. I wouldn't necessarily call him a defined seller because, normally when you look at sellers, you're looking at teams that are embracing a rebuild, and that's not what they're trying to do in Nashville. But I do think he's going to move some pieces out. I talked about Scott Laughton and the Flyers. So Morgan Frost was, of course, a player in play. Ristolainen has a couple of years left on his deal. He's gathering interest and will right up until March 7th or until they trade him. So Philadelphia doesn't necessarily want to sell, but they want to continue to create cap space because I think that they're getting a strong feel in Philadelphia that fan base needs an injection. They need something that they can build some hope around. And Philadelphia wants to get into the big game hunting mode. They do. And maybe that's as early as this offseason. So, by definition, maybe Philadelphia does. If they move Ristolainen, they move Scott Laughton, and they move another piece, and you throw Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee into that equation, well, I think that's pretty much the definition of a seller, right? Yeah. So there'll be other teams that are bottom feeders, of course. Columbus is interesting. They're not bottom feeder. They're very much in contention. What are they going to do there? They've got contract negotiations going on with Provorov, Matthew Olivier, who I can't imagine they trade this guy for all that he does for that team. But there's some teams that we are definitely circling around that are going to be interesting to watch.
Dregs, as always, man, we appreciate it. When's the next episode of Ray and Dregs drop?
Yeah, we're threatening to drop one tomorrow. It's all around Ray's schedule, man. This guy is all over the map right now.
I don't know. Do you track his phone? How do you keep track of him? You got like a tracker on his phone?
Well, it's not that. It's kind of funny. He doesn't always find it humorous, but I do, because he gets lost in time zones. Like Eastern to Mountain to Pacific, that's a tough one for Ray to manage. It is. So we'll collectively agree on, say, 7:30 Eastern. And then all of a sudden it just doesn't pan out that way. So Tuesday, Thursday, fellas, is what we're hoping for. We've got Mike Keenan on. I should grab the book. Hold on.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be good.
I don't know. Can you see that?
There it is. Iron Mike. Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Mike. There you go. So that's the new book that's out. Which was written by Scotty Morrison, who's a good friend of mine. So he's going to come on Thursday, which makes sense given all the turmoil that he went through as a coach, as a general manager, and then had international success. You guys might be too young, but 1987 Canada Cup, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So Keenan's going to walk us down to the international pages of this book as well.
That'll be a great chat. Looking forward to that, Drakes. We'll catch up next Monday.
Okay, have a good one, guys.
There you go. That's Darren Dreger, Ray and Drake's podcast, and of course, NHL Insider with TSN, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports.
Mike Keenan will always remind me of those St. Louis Blues that never were those jerseys with the trumpets going up.
Like was he the coach of them with the trumpet jerseys?
He vetoed. He put the hammer down. He's like, "This is."
I was going to say he must have been the guy who nixed that.
I think that's such an Iron Mike Keenan thing, but he wasn't having any of it.
The first thing I remember about obviously 87 Canada Cup, Canada Russia, 6-5, that thing. And I think I've told this story on the show before, but my dad had like this 1987 Canada Cup collector's book. It had all the teams. It was like a preview book, but it was really nice. And I don't know, I must have been, in 87, I would have been 6. And then I think I found that when I was 7, 8, 9 years old, kind of got my hands on that.
Yeah.
And I cut it up to make hockey cards from all the pictures in there.
That's good.
And it didn't go over well.
Yeah,
it didn't go over well.
Yeah.
But I could see Marshall doing the same thing.
Yeah. Your dad turned into Iron Mike Keenan after that.
Yeah, he was not pleased.
No.
I think I had a Marcus Couture card, Finnish goaltender at the time.
Couturier.
Marcus Couture, maybe? That might not. Maybe he wasn't 87. Anyway, it might have been 87. But yeah, the 87 Canada Cup. Classic. All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Martin is in and says, Mike Keenan is the best only because he crippled the Canucks fan base. All right. So the one thing I did want to bring up was the goaltending situation. I get it. You wanted more from Skinner on
the Leafs goaltending situation.
No. Some of you want more from Skinner every single game. But they're not. It was over in the chat while we were chatting with Dregs. Somebody over in the chat. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube today, you're being a little stingy with the likes here. Hammer the thumbs up for us here.
That's why I brought up Ekholm as well.
Not good enough.
Ekholm doesn't control Skinner's puck handling. I get that as well. But the whole game takes on a different dynamic when your best defenseman isn't in the lineup.
Yeah, all I could think of was, Stetcher can't be on your penalty kill in the playoffs because he's too small to move people in front of the net. It's just you learn some things coming out of a game.
You want to
like
learn them now,
but that's why I wanted to ask the Dregs: has he heard anything? Because some people still. I don't know how anybody can think that they're going to trade for a goaltender.
That'll never go away unless Bowman comes out in front of a mic and explicitly. And even then, who's to say? Keep the phone on.
Walking Campbell's cat says Skinner needs to go while we can still get something for him. Okay, who are you getting?
What's the something?
Who are you getting?
Yeah,
I saw somebody say,
the project.
They trade for a Shesterkin or Hellebuck. Please. Come on, you guys. We need to be more intelligent as a market, as a hockey market, to sit here and think that they're going to go out and trade for one of the 5 elite goaltenders. There's 5 to 6 maybe elite goaltenders in the National Hockey League that you can consistently from year to year know what you're going to get. Stuart Skinner isn't one of those guys, but 25 other teams don't have one of those guys either. And the others have a goaltender who's making what he's making, playing probably to that level, and went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last week.
Do you see what the Doncic deal has done to everybody now?
I know.
Anything's possible. Yeah, you can just...
If Doncic can be traded, then Hellebuck can be traded. There's not a world where that happens. Stuart Skinner's a goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers.
And Pickard's the backup. And it makes a pretty good tandem.
All right, 780-218-9999. Gord is in this. His frustration with Skinner is I think he revolves around giving up 2 or 3 early in games and the team's chasing. Yeah, but then that's giving the rest of the team a free pass for the play in front of them. Right? You're sitting there going, wow, the only reason they start poorly is because of Stuart Skinner. And it's not because of they're giving up a breakaway here or they're doing this there. Yes, he needs to be better early in games. Yeah, but so does the team. I didn't love his start. I said it on Saturday on the post-game chat. I said I thought he was their least valuable player against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But that doesn't mean I thought the team did a good job of clearing bodies out around in front of him. He's your goalie. He's your goalie. They're not going to trade him. Simple as that.
But if the Dallas Mavericks phone, I think you'd talk to the Leafs too, and I know Wall had a great night or good night, I guess you could argue, but I'm sure they would take. I mean, if you offered a tandem swap right there, they would take. I mean, there's lots of teams that would take what the Oilers have right now. That's another point to all this. It's not like, again, he isn't in that top 5 or top 4 of elites in the league, but a lot aren't right now. And you look at the tandem as a whole, I think a lot of teams would like that.
Tube Sock says, I had to laugh yesterday at the pub. One of my buddies said, I heard that Oilers management has soured on Skinner and they're looking to move him.
Pub talk.
Yeah, but which Skinner are we talking? There's a couple of Skinners there. 780-218-9999. I guess I'm just saying, look, just fairly critique Skinner. He's not as bad as many of you think, and he's not as good as some of us defend him from time to time being. That's it. I mean, he's somewhere between 10 and 18 in the NHL goaltending. I think many of you hold these crazy high standards for him that just aren't reasonable. And that's what I have to say about Stuart Skinner. I just don't. There's no goalie out there that you're going to get. I think there's just not enough good goalies in the National Hockey League for teams to be moving them. It's just
Paul's got a rant on that right now in Paris Jewelers inbox.
In the Paris Jewelers inbox.
Yeah, all right, 780-20-liner
218-9999 780-218-9999. For who? Who is available in a trade that is an upgrade? And then what do the Oilers need to give up in that trade? In my opinion, if you think goaltending is a top problem on this team, your hockey knowledge is lacking. It's time to realize that the Oilers are first in the Pacific and 4th in the league. Skinner and Pickard have been a big part of that. I'd much rather make an upgrade on defense with another Ekholm type of player. But again, it comes down to who's available in a trade and what do the Oilers need to give up for that upgrade. The decade of darkness took a toll on a lot of us, but let's take a second to remember that the carousel of players on those teams and appreciate the Oilers squad in front of us now. The expectation needs to be realistic, and a cup is not unrealistic with this group. Skinner and Pickard were part of last year's team that went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. Thanks, Paul. CB Radio guy, I think, makes a great point. Guys, you know what Saturday really showed? Ekholm goes down, we aren't going far.
Yeah.
The Oilers need another guy on the back end. Darnell played well, but Ekholm
is our printer.
But Ekholm is our printer.
Ekholm is the printer. Ekholm is the printer. But that's why it doesn't take until you have one absence, right? That it's like you missing a show. You know, people come in, you get used to it. Yeah. But once you take something out of the equation, you're like, oh, geez.
It's different.
This, the power play. I mean, the penalty, 15 for 15 the past while here. Ekholm's a huge part of that.
And then they don't have Ekholm and at least
and now it's all of
two
a sudden glaring, and now we'll blame the goaltender for that. Well, I mean, it's easy. And again, I don't blame Ekholm for Stuart Skinner's puck handling abilities, but certainly, I mean, having him on the kill, having him on that defense, I mean, he's the best. He's not talked about or praised so much, and I think Darren Dreger mentioned that even in the acquisition. We were all talking Chikrin, we were all talking some other names. Here's this Matthias Ekholm. And he goes about his business in a non-sexy way, but he gets the job done. And when he's out of the picture, it is glaring. So, yeah, I would agree on that part, and that's why I felt to bring him up there. That omission, and again, if he goes, he is our printer.
The thing is that, too. Like the Oilers, it's almost like when you have a quarterback on a rookie deal. Like you want to try to make, like the Commanders right now, they got to make hay while Jaden Daniels is on this rookie deal. And Stuart Skinner and combine him with Pickard, they're on a very affordable deal. The Oilers can't afford to pay a goalie much more than they're paying those guys right now. So you get what you pay for in between the pipes in the National Hockey League. And to be honest with you, a lot of people overpay for the position. So
again, it's domino effect thinking from the Doncic trade. The NBA strikes again. It's the NHL's worst enemy.
I think you're taking it too far by saying this team will never win a Stanley Cup because of Stuart Skinner. I think that's taking it too far. They almost did last year. Like I said on Twitter over the weekend, if McDavid and Draisaitl could, score in Game 7, Skinner played well enough for you to win that hockey game.
They didn't lose it because of him. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's slide over to take a look. Super Bowl coming up. If you have not yet booked a table, it might be too late. It might not. The place is going to be absolutely packed. Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge is where we'll be doing the Super Bowl thing. And they've got a great food menu. I mean, ridiculously priced items.
The big game.
You're really going to like what they're bringing to the table
Underground
here.
Parking, 2 levels. I think the temperature will be sticking around for the weekend. So if you want to warm that vehicle up, take her down there. Hey, Trev, especially for you, you don't even like the plug-in. His situation is primed for the Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge underground parking.
You got that car ready to go.
It's beautiful. I'll have to go under there.
Yeah.
Leave your jacket in the car.
Oh, yeah,
you
be nice and warm.
No jacket?
Yeah, nice
I'll come up,
up there.
like the Godfather. Wear some shorts.
Yeah, wear some shorts.
And a beer.
And we're going to make Tommy do a walk of shame for cheating in the Handsome Man
Hands
draft.
around the ankles for some reason.
Chips at him, poker chips.
Under $10 food menu. If you would like to book a table, and we believe they're getting pretty tight on tables, edm.centurysports@cnty.com. That's edm.centurysports@cnty.com. It is Super Bowl week, and every day this week we're going to have a different Super Bowl pick that we can lay it out for you. I did say last week I'm excited about that. No team will have 3 consecutive scores play because it was plus 140 for no. Today I'm going to do this. I'm going to dive in to an anytime touchdown score in this football game, and the Super Bowl bet of the day today will be Kareem Hunt plus 125 to find the end zone. He has touchdowns in 4 straight games. Travis Kelce has better odds to score a touchdown. Jalen Hurts has better odds to score a touchdown. And, of course, Saquon has better odds to score a touchdown. But I think there's a sneaky big game coming up here for Kareem Hunt in the Super Bowl. So Kareem Hunt plus 125, anytime touchdown score to find the end zone on Super Bowl Sunday.
That was Mahomes' legs on Championship Sunday.
2 touchdowns there.
Now
Hunt had 1 and Mahomes had 2. Patrick Mahomes to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, plus 333. Shall we sprinkle it as well? Sprinkle boys over at Coolbet. If you have...
They got it all up here.
If you have not yet signed up for an account, oh yeah, it's great. Super Bowl, it's insane. We got an entire week of previews coming here on the Lock Shop. Huss is on his way back from Costa Rica today.
Hey, yeah.
So he'll join us. He'll be back tomorrow. But he did join us from Costa Rica on Friday to give Royal Rumble picks.
I saw him having his international cool bet dinner as well.
Oh, yeah.
Spare no expense. I mean,
he's living his best life right now. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Hey, if you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We would very much appreciate that. You're sitting there, you're watching. You like us enough to be here. Why not hit the thumbs up too? We would very much appreciate that. On the other side, that's so good for the Italian Center as Ed Hervey gets cooking. And we got to get into the NBA blockbuster a little bit more, right?
I love leaning over this thing and having a chat. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Or sometimes
it's pretty good. I almost hurt my back that time.
You can talk about deals back here.
Nobody will ever know what's happening in the Canadian Football League back there. And then the fan zone for fans first. You're going to love this, Oilers fans. Are the Oilers waiting too long to pull the trigger on a deal? Right? I know a lot of people have been texting in about Pettersson. Got to get Pettersson for Pittsburgh. Too late.
He was a name, yeah.
He's
off
gone.
The board. Or is he?
He's gone. Some of you might have wanted to bring Cody Ceci back. Too late. He's gone.
Or is he?
I think he is. So we'll get into the fan zone for fansfirst.ca coming up here as well. Right now, let's get to a sports update for the great staff at Park Mazda with Lieutenant Eric.
We started the CFL as the tampering window was cracked open a bit yesterday, especially here in Edmonton, as the Elks agreed to terms with a handful of players. Quite a few from the Grey Cup champion Toronto Argonauts, as Jake Ceresna is returning to the team, along with Jared Brinkman on the defensive line. Another lineman on the defensive side, Canadian Robbie Smith, will be joining from Toronto, while Canadian safety Royce Metier also committing to a 2-year deal from the Boatmen. Canadian offensive lineman David Beard returns to the club from the Ticats. Elks also going out and making it known that they'll be bringing in Canadian defensive back and Trey Ford's brother Tyrell Ford from the Bombers on a reported 1-year deal. Also, the Elks signing American linebacker Niles Morgan and Canadian offensive lineman Brett Boyko. The Sacramento Kings are finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs and acquire Bulls guard Zach LaVine as part of a 3-team deal involving multiple players and picks. This follows the mammoth deal over the weekend that saw Dallas ship Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. The NBA trade deadline will fall this Thursday. The Raptors yesterday with a 115-108 win over the Clippers. Toronto will host the Knicks tomorrow. And over to the NHL picture, the Rangers rally past Vegas 4-2. Jonathan Quick, his 400th career victory. Morgan Frost notched his first as a Flame. Calgary holding off the Kraken 3-2. Alex DeBrincat had a pair, including the overtime winner, as Detroit take it 3-2 over the new-look Vancouver Canucks. Avalanche shutting out the Flyers 2-0. Stars over the Blue Jackets 5-3. Dallas, they've won 5 straight in the Blues. Snap a 4-game skid with a 2-1 win over Utah. The Oilers in St. Louis tomorrow to kick off a mini road trip against the Blues. Just one game in the NHL tonight that'll see the Predators at home to the Ottawa Senators. Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he's expected to do a deal with Ed Hervey later today.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button. Thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
$7:36. What's up? Dusty. Hard Lieutenant Eric with you. YouTube Trev is here as well. I'm having computer issues today, so all of the stuff that we're hearing is coming from YouTube Trev. It just won't play any audio. I don't know what's going on. There's got to be an easy fix for this. There's got to be a button that I'm pushing.
Your computer's Connor McDavid. Hey,
like this microphone button is pushed down. Do you think if I turn that on, it'll play better?
Sure.
I don't know, but I don't think that makes sense. Let me see. Nope, still not playing anything. Oh, well. All right. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. It's been a crazy show. We're only halfway through. We've already had a pretty good discussion on the Doncic AD trade. Tommy Gazzola, likely sanctions coming his way after he breaks a gentlemanly agreement and panders for votes for his team on Instagram. And if we were just on a Twitter vote, he would have been relegated this week. So the commish has some explaining to do.
Maybe he serves us at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for a Super Bowl. Like he's
after his shame walk.
And no tips.
No tips, but he has to bring all those under $10 menu items.
Yes.
Bring those our way. We're going to get into the fan zone for fans first as well, but let's dive into That's a Good for the Italian Center. And hey, if you're looking for a various selection of meats and cheeses, you can definitely find those at the Italian Center every single day. That's a good. So we had hockey Saturday morning. And then I had to swing by Wayne's to pick up some cards for the crack pack.
Yes.
And then Tammy and Muzz were coming from her practice. And they're like, let's go to Firehouse for lunch. So we went to Firehouse Subs for lunch. Furby got something good going there. Anyway, after that, Tam's like, let's go over to the Italian Center and get some donuts.
Good.
Some family donuts. So we went over to the Italian Center, picked up some donuts as well.
I think they closed early Saturday too. They had their Christmas party.
There was a Christmas. There was a thing in there when we were in. It said Christmas party hours is going to change. So we did say last week on the show after we did what was it the banana pepper with meat and crackers. I was like, we should
your
do
gateway pepper.
Yeah, we should do a cheese and crackers and meat kind of week on the show. So
following January, it's the dark month. You're kicking off February here. Let's go.
So I decided to start it. I remembered and picked this up over the weekend. So what we have here, boys, is a double cheddar Ritz cracker, and on top of it, you've got garlic sausage and a double smoked aged cheddar from the Italian.
You're not fooling around. Those are thick cuts.
Well, I was using like a crappy butter knife. It was tough to really make it thin.
I ain't complaining.
So, Trev, come over here and grab yourself garlic sausage, double smoked. That you can smell that.
It's got a
actually. It might
nice
be the garlic
nose to
sausage
it,
that we're getting on the nose here, but this cheese. I am not gonna lie. I had a couple little pieces.
Oh, of course you did.
Earlier
Well, you
this
got to
morning,
make sure.
and they were really good.
Just missing some banana peppers.
That's a really nice spread right there. That's a good. Oh, that cheese is delicious. There's nothing like a fine cheese,
You get that smokiness.
Yeah, you get the smokiness in there. And just a single piece of cheese. So anyway, I made 12 of them. So there's 4 little crackers pieces there for each of us. It's a nice way to lead up to Super Bowl week. Yep, the various crackers.
Well, you want a good spread? You want some food such as this? Italian Center's where to be.
Some would say that cheese would take you to Italy, but that cheese takes me back to Spengler in Switzerland.
Is that what that? That's where.
Well, that's really the only place I ever get cheese crazy. Because I'm like, oh, I'm in Switzerland. I have to try various cheeses. And that reminds me of the cheese out there.
You can get some higher end crackers as well at the Italian Center. It doesn't sign text guy.
The Ritz were not from the Italian Center.
Doesn't sign text guy says a Ritz cracker with that kind of cheese meat is just criminal.
Well, look, man, I didn't get the crackers at
But
Italian
they have some
Center.
high end cracker, like real good.
I mean,
real good.
So you're up tomorrow? Are you good to do meat cheese cracker tomorrow?
Sure.
Anyway,
you want to see a show?
I know you'll do something special. But yeah, the Ritz cracker does kind of do it injustice with the garlic sausage and double aged.
It works in a pinch. It's got a good body to it.
I had to stop last night at Save-On and get milk, and I was like, I never got the crackers.
Yeah.
So then I was looking at various types of crackers, but this is an extra cheddar Ritz, which might be overwhelming with the smoked double smoked cheddar.
That's what that is. Yeah. I figure they're a little tinty.
Yeah. Anyway,
might have to go back in for one more.
Right, it's pretty good.
Just
Trev's still moaning and groaning over there.
Yeah,
Trev, how good was this? This was that's a good, right?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Trev. There's 3 more over here for you. Yeah,
Okay,
don't be
I'll
shy.
definitely-
Don't be shy.
I will not be shy. That was so good.
Scott on a hotel balcony in Beaumont says, just curious, does Dusty eat pickles? I don't mind pickles. I'm very picky on my pickles. No pun intended. I like the butter. What are they called? The butter pickles. You know what I'm talking about? Like a crinkle cut pickle. I like those.
Okay.
They would go well with these.
You're not a Polsky Ogorky guy.
No, I don't want to get carried away. I mean, I'll save those for people who really love pickles.
Pickle podcast.
I just want that bread and butter. That's it. The bread and butter pickle. That's what I want. All right, here's what's good. Here's what's good. Here's what's good today. Ed Hervey wasting no time at all whatsoever. Now, too much too soon, do you think here, Jeff? Get that pickle out of here.
Get that out of here.
Get that pickle out of here. Too much too soon? Do you think was he overzealous? Are you worried at all about I don't know, everybody else is kind of wading into the waters here, and Herv's just like boom, boom. I think it's great, but I'm just trying to think of it from another point of view. Like, is he I don't know, wait and see how the market plays out type of thing? Or
2013, Odell Willis, like minutes after free agency opened, signs with the then Eskimos, right? And Hervey was there, and it's the Ed Hervey tampering window now. So it's funny that he's back now in this market, and you see a window such as this. Now, a lot of fans online outside of this market have been bitching a bit. The beard thing, I think people are saying that, but that's the point of the tampering window. That's what this is. So we all know it now. And I don't know what word you use, concerned. It's exciting. And I think if any organization around the league, outside of maybe Calgary, could use a little excitement in their offseason, discussion, it would be this one. Does it translate to success? I don't know. Ed Hervey went out and did this as well in 2019 with the BC Lions. They ended up 5-13 on the year.
Didn't work out well then, yeah.
Now, again, different scenario, different place, different time, different a lot of things. Does this all work? I mentioned, too, we've seen, I think the Ottawa Redblacks have been free agent darlings over the last little while. They've gone out and made some, sexy signings and brought in some names. Does it all translate, though, in the end? We'll see. I mean, this is a sport that, a team sport, yes, but one that requires so much, overlap with different players and such. So I think you're bringing in guys. We mentioned the line. I think Boyko coming back is good. Corte will move over to guard, as you said, and Beard coming in. I think the defensive line, Hervey identified two positions that he wanted to upgrade, and that was defensive line and the defensive secondary.
Terrell Ford, Royce Mechie, Brinkman, Serezna, Robbie Smith.
All with pedigree. All with guys that have been there, done that, and as I mentioned, some golden passports in terms of Canadians. So, look, I if you're just grading free agency, it's top grade. Will it all work? Wait and find out and see. But certainly with this organization and needing some good pop. I mean, it was Trey Ford coming back too. That was another thing. After all the coaching staff and the management, well, now what are we doing with Trey Ford? They answered that question.
They're obviously committed to Trey,
yep,
bringing his brother in here for a couple years too.
All of these things just point, they're listening to the fan base. So it's great stuff. But again, Grey Cups aren't handed out in February. So we shall see. But it's classic Ed Hervey behavior. And I think you'd be surprised if it wasn't a tampering window such as this from yesterday.
8 signings over the weekend from Ed Hervey, 5 of them being Canadian, which I think is extremely important.
And maybe again, Niles Morgan, as I mentioned too, bringing him back is one of the main
and Niles
things
Morgan,
as well.
yeah, that was a huge. It
gets
keep.
lost in the whole shuffle of it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody likes new shiny things, but outstanding. The receiving core is going to look, a lot different. Some familiar faces, but a lot of fresh new names as well. And I think you always talk about Canadian Air Forces in this league and assembling, playmakers of Canadian descent in that position. They've got some good ones.
Julian Grant now joins Gittins Jr.
Yeah.
2 very good Canadian receivers.
Very much so.
Julian Grant, a Grey Cup ring with Montreal, familiar with Cody Fajardo.
I think Mathis, again, he's got something to prove coming into his own Odom's Dukes as well. I mean, a lot of ceiling for him. So that'll be interesting in that position specifically. So yeah, he went out and did it. It's the Ed Hervey tampering window, and we're all just living in it.
I wonder how much he gave Serezna. Because Serezna was saying that the reports were out there that he wanted $250, and I know Hernan was in here the other day being like, "There's no way Herv's giving him $250." So I wonder what number he got him to get him back here. But Serezna's that's a big get.
Well,
Brinkman's the guy who rubs his belly after sacks, I think, too.
Well, maybe
he could be very entertaining.
Maybe all of these things are connected as well. You're going, I'm going, and we'll go. And it's funny you keep Gittins Jr., the guy that you acquired and giving up Serezna in that deal as well. So now you've got both back. I mean, I think a lot of fans were happy with the Serezna acquisition, especially. That was kind of the cherry on top for a lot of people yesterday.
I think I like their secondary now with Ford, Metier, and I mean, they had some good young guys last year who were just getting better and better. You mix those 2 Canadians in with what else they have going on in secondary.
You can build around 2 Canadians in there, yeah.
I think it's pretty. And then you keep Niles Morgan. I keep forgetting that they re-signed Niles Morgan, which is a big one. They were 20-1 to win the Super Bowl or to win the Grey Cup. They're now 13-1.
They could be 21 to win the Super Bowl. Who's used to say?
They're now they're 25-1 to win the Super Bowl next year, but they're now 13-1 to win the Grey Cup. So their odds have improved significantly just since over the weekend with what Ed Hervey did. Now, the real question is, for Double E fans, for Elks fans out there, Does this get you fired up? Right? Is this a Gemco fired up for Napoleon fireplaces? Is that what this is? Because, I mean, I think you have to be pretty excited about it. Serezna.
I don't know what else more you could do.
These are big names that a lot of other teams wanted, and the organization has been a mess for years, and all of a sudden these guys are like, yeah, okay, I'm in. Obviously, they believe in Mark Killam, they believe in Herv, and they believe in Chris Morris. So
well, you're not
there's
pulling
been
teeth
quite
yet.
a turn over the last few months.
You're not pulling teeth to get them. We haven't even seen a Killam-led team yet on the field, and already guys are buying in and saying, yes, I want to be a part of that, as opposed to the years we've seen. So I think that's encouraging as well. I don't know what else you could have added to this haul that would make it even better. And again, guys like Serezna, Beard too, like a former,
bring him back. He was here up to 22. Won a Grey Cup here in 15.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and still in who's the defensive back from Montreal that they're in on? I think there's still a sweepstakes out for him. Stubblefield.
Oh yeah, I think
he's
Dave
still
Campbell
floating around, and I think the Elks are still involved in that. So that would be a hell of a boon for the defensive side.
He's a middle linebacker, or he's not a middle linebacker. He's
linebacker slash defensive back. I mean, you can move him around in packages. But that'd be another. I mean,
that'd be nice.
Wow, you add him to the mix. Yeah, we'll see how it all comes together. But I mean, in terms of signings and such, and again, it's a good thing that Nisku Glass provided us with the window, because you said Herbie smashed through it, breaking it over his knee. It's the Stone Cold Steve Austin introduction.
It really was. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the whip right away.
Yeah,
you can't do it today because of the audio issue on the computer. But actually, you know what? I guess I could have tried to plug it. No, it still wouldn't have worked. I was going to say I could have tried to plug it in, but I don't think that would have worked anyway. All right, that's a good for the Italian Center. There, we each have two left over here. My little double smoked cheddar.
What are you gonna call it? Something like the? You should take a picture of one. I mean, we should all take a picture of our constructed
one of our
cheese
things,
meat cracker.
Well, I'd like to take a picture of that one. It's got like the
you
end
like
piece
the end piece,
of it.
yeah.
Well, I'd like the picture. I think
it showcases
I
the smoke.
It really does. You can see the smoke on
That's
there, right?
the smoke. Smoke. Too bad your computer wasn't working.
I know. I could play
Justin
smoke guy.
song.
All right, we're not done yet. Wait, Trev, let me get a picture before you take it. All right, let's see here. No, go ahead, Trev. Look at that. You know, it's a nice little tray.
It's looking good, yeah.
Have at her, Trev. Select another.
Take the end piece.
Ritz cracker with double smoked cheddar from the Italian Center.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right, let's dive into the fan zone for fansfirst.ca.
The fan zone.
Trev, chew that quickly because I'm coming to you on Clintberg. We're going to dive into this a little bit. Some other teams are making some trades. The others obviously, getting a look at Clintberg right now. Fansfirst.ca. If you're looking for tickets next time the Oil are at home, no better place to get it than at Fans First. Fansfirst.ca. By fans, for fans, no fees at fansfirst.ca today. So the question on the fan zone today, and you can slide in 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. How much longer can the Oil wait before pulling the trigger on something as other targets start to get scooped up by teams that they could be facing in the postseason? What do you think? Trev, what's your level of patience here? You go up until like the day before the deadline, give Clintberg as much time as you possibly can to get a fair evaluation of them? Or do you sit around and you go, some of these guys are starting to move. We better piss or get off the pot. And yeah, 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the nasty chat today. Hammer the thumbs up if you're on the nasty chat. LB in the chat over there says Clintberg looks exactly like a guy who hasn't played in 14 months. Trev, your early thoughts on Clintberg, and I guess how patient do you think the Oilers can continue to be as other teams scoop up some of these targets?
Yeah, I think Clintberg has been okay. I'd say okay. Like there's some times where I feel like he's forgotten how fast the National Hockey League is because he's been like, oh crap, he almost got walked by Willie Nylander there. It would have been an unbelievable goal, but Stewie Skinner, he made a good save. I thought he's been okay. Like I wasn't expecting him to be a significant game changer. I think he's played his role. If you were expecting anything else, if you were expecting Clintberg of old, that's not what you're getting. That's not what you're getting at all. So I think he's been as expected is what I'd put it. And as far as the trade deadline, how long can they wait? Well, it's March 7th is the deadline.
Just over a month.
Yeah, just over a month. And as players are starting to, get traded, I'd probably say, I'm okay with what they're doing. I still think they're looking at their options. Give it maybe 2 more weeks. But, the thing that sucks is obviously you have the Four Nations face off and, there would be games there. So you'd get a little bit more runway to see what they need. And the thing about jumping into this and making trades, right out of the gate is, you never know what's going to happen. You make a trade and who knows, forward could get down, so I'm okay with them waiting to the exact, I'm okay with, these players getting traded and whatnot.
You're not worried about missing out on some of these guys?
No, I'm not personally, just because there's a risk, right, with injuries and whatnot. So patience is thy virtue. I'm okay with them waiting until the deadline.
What do you think, Rick? How patient can you be with this group? Just sort of ride it out before the deadline and then pull a trigger day of, or try to move earlier?
Yeah, I don't think that you should be desperate at all or signal that desperation. I think somebody in the nasty chat mentioned, with using the goaltender situation as an example too. I mean, why would you go out and just say that you? I think they certainly have a few probably players the name circled and that they'll do their due diligence on. If those players, such as we saw over the weekend, Pettersson becomes unavailable. I mean, you can't just be sitting there with one option and say, oh, well, book's closed, and call it a day. You got a month now, and I think, as a team in this position shouldn't be showing any sort of desperation. I don't think you're really crying out for anything in terms of just, as Dreger pointed out too today, just adding some depth on the forward and maybe some... Now, the defense and the blue line could be something different where you aim a little higher. But even then, as we saw with the Ekholm acquisition a few years back, that kind of came out of nowhere. So... I would trust that they know what they're doing and that they have plans, multiple plans, not just one. And if Cody Ceci gets dealt to Nashville, it's like, oh, well, there goes the trade deadline for us. So, no desperation, though. I don't think they should be in any sort of that.
I think Clintberg, you could tell he hasn't played in a while. He moves the puck extremely well. He really does. I did tweet after the game on Saturday night. I said, I think Klingberg's got a long way to go if the Oilers are going to sit pat at the blue line. Yeah. I think you're going to want to see more from Klingberg if you're just going to be like, that's our guy. And we're going to go into the playoffs with those 6 and Stetcher as a 7. There were a couple of moments in that game. The one, it looked like the speed was a little bit too much, like Trev mentioned. There was another moment, I think, in the third period where he kind of had the puck behind the net and he was pressured immediately, and the Leafs took it away from him. And that type of stuff. Do you remember that play? It was just like, you got to move that thing. So I mean, I guess my official opinion on Klingberg is what most of ours probably should be, and undecided at this point. I had a bunch of people reply to me like, what are you talking about, Dusty? He was excellent tonight. I was like, wait a second.
That's a strong word.
Let's pump there. Actually, somebody described him as very good. I said, I'd politely disagree with your very good. I thought he looks okay for a guy who hasn't played in 14 months. But is he, regardless of how good, is he the defenseman that is your final piece in another year inside the window? I think you're going to get a guy with some offensive upside who moves the puck well, who is a moderate defender. And if that describes the type of defenseman you think they need, then you'll probably be happy with Klingberg. If you think they need more of a crease clearer in front when the going gets tough later in games, then maybe you want to see them try to go out and get somebody else. But I don't think they have to rush into anything right now. I mean, you take this thing up to the Four Nations for sure, which is just around the corner, and you probably reevaluate things over that little time frame. And then you come back and you get a couple more looks at them and then go from there. Brett Lidke says, I think Klingberg is your upgrade on Stetcher. Now you go get another blue liner. That's the one thing I did think watching. I said, man, if Klingberg's your 7 that has to come in for you at some point during the playoffs, you got a pretty decent blue line then.
Yeah.
Like, depending on who this other guy is, if you can go get somebody. If Klingberg's your 7, I mean, it's a veteran guy, can come in and move the puck. Maybe Emberson's playing really well at the time, so maybe you bump him up and Klingberg rolls with Kulak for a bit. But I think there's got to be something more on the blue line in some way, just from a depth perspective. I don't think you can get, like, for example, that blue line without Ekholm, major concern. Yeah, I didn't like it. Nurse is having a great season, but if Ekholm were to, for some reason, get hurt in the playoffs, you're going to require a hell of a lot out of Nurse. And you need, in a perfect world, you'd like to have like 2 veteran defensemen on the back end that would be upgraded over Stetcher as your 7 and 8 so that you can slide in need be as well. So I don't think you have to rush on it, but I'd probably give you a little bit of time here. Hey, fellas, the Oilers really missed Ekholm, especially on the penalty kill against Toronto. I'd like to see the Oilers make a play for Parayko at the deadline. With the cap going up, I believe they can make it work. He's a right shot Ekholm, in my opinion. That went in from Cozy. I know there's some people with differing opinions on Parayko.
He's not what it was.
No, but I would take him ahead of Klingberg at this time.
He's been playing over the past
on the right side
a little while, right?
RCN, Pedersen would have helped. Well, that's why we came back around to the conversation on, do you wait until, like, for example, what was the guy that you liked, Matheson in Montreal or whatever? Like, does he end up going somewhere? You're like, there's another one that maybe could have gone out and got, right? So, got to be careful. I mean, Stan Bowman has been through this a number of times. Jeff Jackson has been around the NHL trade deadline for a long, long time, has been through it in some different phases of the business. But I don't think these guys will be caught off guard pre-deadline. So keep those text messages coming in. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. And we'll get to more of those responses. We might dive in. There's lots to get to with Rishaug today, but we might get into that a little bit around 8:30. Ryan Rishaug from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast. He'll be by around 8:30 this morning. Marmot Basin Snow Report, the wrap for William Huff, and kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many on the way just after 8 o'clock. Let's get to, somebody's got to play kind of easy trivia. Who wants to play kind of easy trivia today? Stake your claim at Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. They've got that 2-course steak dinner on right now for just $39.99. Can somebody say date night?
Date night.
Yeah, exactly. It would work, right?
Yeah.
If you'd like to play kind of easy trivia today, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Text Trev. Let him know you'd like to play kind of easy trivia today and get that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. 3 questions too many on the way as well. If you do have any questions for 3 questions too many, submit those, and we'll get to a few of those as well as we work our way through hour number 3. Let's get to a sports update right now with Lieutenant Eric for the fine folks at Windsor Plywood Leduc. If you're doing a bunch of stuff with plywood, they've got you covered. Eric's got more on that.
Well, the Canadian Football League Elks agreeing to terms with a handful of players yesterday as the CFL free agent tampering window opened up. Lots from the Grey Cup champion Argos as Jake Ceresna, Jared Brinkman, Robbie Smith, and Royce Metier all committing to the team. Canadian offensive lineman David Beard rejoins the Elks from Hamilton. Terrell Ford linking up with his brother Trey from Winnipeg. Also, the Elks signing American linebacker Niles Morgan and Canadian offensive lineman Brett Boyko to deals. Over to the NBA. Following the mammoth deal over the weekend, which saw Dallas ship Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, the Kings are finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs and acquire Bulls guard Zach LaVine as part of a 3-team deal involving multiple players and picks. On the court, Raptors with a 115-108 victory over the Clippers yesterday. Toronto will get set to host the Knicks tomorrow with the NBA trade deadline falling on Thursday. Lots of action around the NHL yesterday. Colorado shutting out Philly 2-0. Stars topping Columbus 5-3. Detroit over Vancouver 3-2 in overtime. Morgan Frost notching his first as a Flame as Calgary would hold off the Kraken 3-2. And the Rangers doubling up Vegas 4-2. Blues also snap a 4-game slide with a 2-1 victory over Utah. The Oilers will visit the Blues tomorrow. Just one game around the NHL tonight, which will see Nashville at home to Ottawa. Sports Update brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc. Locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and the surrounding area since 1993. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood Leduc.
I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get real when they drop that puck. And we won't be done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
On the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here today. The Nielson Show today and every day brought to you by our great partners out at South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. You're looking for a new pickup truck? They've got you covered. Hop on their website. You get sucked down a little website hole there or whatever they say.
Very good online.
Truck hole.
Very good.
Over at South Fort Chevrolet. www.southfortchev.com. 3 questions too many coming up. Ryan Rishaug's going to pop by from the Got Your Back podcast. Marmot Basin Snow Report. I guess I still have access to some of this stuff, eh?
Yeah.
This little board.
Don't forget about the Roadcaster.
Yeah, what else do we have in here? I got the Got Your Back song on here, I think.
That's all we need
Some of the
today.
stuff that Reed and Jay use, eh? What's an anaconda pig? Hey, look, it's me. Play more tables and games.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I can't take it anymore. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, they're using you.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
Dave Jameson. What was that about? God, that was that's great. And then of course I got this.
That's all we need.
All right, so we'll get into
as long as we got that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I love that JMO clip. Let me get that back up here.
So random.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
Classic
That's in the system. If you haven't checked out the Reed Wilkins show yet, what are you doing? Every single day from 3 to 6 right here on TuneIn, on iHeart, at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and of course on YouTube. All right, let's play a little Kind of Easy Trivia today. Kind of Easy Trivia brought to you by the fine folks over at Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever, where right now you can go to stake your claim at Mr. Mike's. 2-course steak dinner for just $39.99. Start with the Emperor's Caesar salad or the rustic onion soup. And enjoy their tender 7-ounce sirloin steak with béarnaise butter and garlic mashed potatoes. Loaded with savory toppings. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually. Trev, it's all you today, buddy. You got the ticker. You got a little celebration song out. Who's playing today? Who do we got?
Got Gordo's going to give it a go.
Gordo. All right, Gordo, you need 3 of 5 correct to win that gift certificate to Mr. Mike's. You ready to go?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Trev will start the ticker after read the first question. Good luck, man. Who did the Edmonton Oilers lose to on Saturday?
Toronto.
What position does Joseph Wall play?
Goalie.
Luka Doncic was traded to which NBA team on Saturday?
Lakers.
Who is taller, Anthony Davis or Luka Doncic?
Davis.
How many football games are left in the NFL season?
1.
Boom. 5 out of 5. I think he got it.
Sergio Ramos gets a nipple erection.
Oh, is that dirty?
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions.
Oh, is that dirty?
Frustration sets in and the emotion goes out, and then you just start playing by yourself.
Oh, is that dirty?
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
All right. Congratulations to Gordo. He's off to Mr. Mike Steakhouse Casual. Nas 26 over the Nasty Shit. So guys, Vancouver gave up a top 16 pick for Pettersson. What do the Oilers have to offer equal to that? Likely nothing. Actually, Nas, I think you have to kind of look at it. Part of that was a salary dump by the Canucks. Like getting a Desharnais contract off their books. Like part of the value of that first rounder being moved in that deal, I think was significantly locked into take these contracts as well, and we'll give you a first.
Yeah, what an offseason for the Vancouver Canucks, in terms of their free agent pickups.
Yeah, time to move on already. Time to move on already. So I don't think you can just look at Pettersson for the first. I mean, there were some contracts being dumped there by the Vancouver Canucks. All right, you can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox. www.parisjewelers.com. 22 stores in 4 provinces. Shop in stores in the Edmonton area, West Edmonton Mall, Kingsway, Londonderry, Sherwood Park Mall, St. Albert Center. And of course, we are 11 days away from the most romantic day of the year. Yeah. As the Tief says, Valentine's Day. You want to hear that?
You're not doing it,
No. I'm not going to do all of it, but I'll give you the beginning so you can just get a taste of what could be coming down the pipe here. This is a Tief's Valentine's Day song, as heard off of my phone this morning.
Maybe you'll perform live at the Central Casino.
Valentine's Day, what a crappy day. You get your box of chocolates, your flowers, and your diamond rings. Valentine's Day, what a crappy day. You make that special someone breakfast in bed. Then you hope for supper and definitely dessert in the evening. Oh. Valentine's Day.
That's as far as I got. That's a Tief's Valentine's Day song.
Dessert in the evening, hey?
Yeah, I thought he was going somewhere else.
You dirty boy.
But he went dessert in the evening. What a guy. What a guy. Anyway.
Yeah,
get all your jewelry for the one you love, man or woman, at Paris Jewelers. All right. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment today?
Yeah, 3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where he was this close to being a third team in on the Mavericks Lakers trade. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
Imagine the Utah Jazz being like, hey, do you guys want to be a part of this? Sure.
Let's get in there, yeah.
Do you guys, hey, Utah, yeah, would you guys like to be a part of this? Yes, but only if Jalen Hood-Schifino's involved.
Y'all get a car. Park Mazda, your dealer for life.
I pointed out to somebody, I guess maybe it was in the group chat yesterday, Ed Hervey was cooking somebody. Herv is a huge Lakers guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure he's not involved in the Doncic trade as well. Like, I could see a world where that actually happens.
The Oilers should bring him in as a consultant prior to the deadline here. They got a month away.
Yeah, maybe.
He'd get something done yesterday.
I mean, he's cooking and shaking right now.
He's
moving and shaking.
He is tampering.
He's moving and shaking. He's cooking and tampering. All right, do you have a Twitter account?
Yes, at Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow on Twitter, where I did tweet out this morning, #tampering Windows City.
Have we had a statement yet from Tommy Gazzola in the Nasty Chat today on the accusations?
Just a tweet, which I found kind of weird. But
the tweet at me, the reply to me, or a different tweet?
Yeah, well.
Just the one tweet. Yeah, it's just a GIF.
Funny. And then I mentioned this imposed Elks Argonauts logo here, which I found pretty sharp.
That's actually, that does look nice. Yeah.
Credit to Justin 879-25317 on the X.
Sounds like a real account. Yeah. Must be to come up with something like that. All right, Trev, do you have a Twitter account? Are you back to 1,000 followers yet, or what?
No.
Oh, man.
I'm at like 930. So that's kind of nice. I'm going back up, which
All
is
right,
cool.
He's creeping back up.
It's a green arrow I saw the last time I looked.
All right.
YouTube_Trev on Twitter or Instagram.
And if you're watching on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We got to smash through 300 on a Monday show with everything that we've had to discuss so far. Question number 1. Who do you guys think will go further in the NBA playoffs? The Mavs or the Lakers?
The Mavs. They're built better now.
But they are better. I think
it'd be kind of funny how this all transpires and develops here.
Somebody was asking me over the weekend, what's the NHL equivalent of this deal? And I had a hard time coming up with one. I don't know what the equivalent would be. But if you have a suggestion, 780-218-9999. First of all, I still can't believe Dallas did this. I mean, I know we talked about it in the 6 o'clock hour. I know Luka isn't in the best of shape. But even when he's last year, guess what? Last year he wasn't in the best of shape either. And he averaged 33, 10, and 9. He almost had a 33-point triple-double average last year and went to an NBA final.
Face of the franchise.
Yeah, he's when was the last time you saw a guy under control in any league, under control, without requesting a trade somewhere?
Loved Dallas by all accounts.
Moved out by this friend. He's the face of the franchise, he's going to be the future of the franchise. Now he's the future of the Lakers. And Dallas decided that he's out of shape. He doesn't play defense. And Anthony Davis is a better fit with Kyrie and Clay. And what else they've got going on there.
And helping out the Lakers of all.
Well, the Lakers took a glaring weakness and made it even bigger, though, here.
No, I know, but I'm talking long-term now.
Anthony Davis was doing a TV interview last week saying they need to trade for a center to help him.
Yeah.
Now they've traded him away. Nothing against Markieff Morris, but didn't really replace him at power forward. And haven't replaced him as center either. But
long term, I think Iwanik's more happy with this deal because he's a true Lakers fan where you're a LeBron fan, right? This is, you know what I'm saying?
I will be a Lakers fan moving forward now because I love Luka too. So when LeBron eventually retires, it's not like I'm going out hunting for a new team.
No, but
I'll still be riding with the Lakers and Luka because
we know
outside of LeBron, Luka's my second favorite player.
We know you followed him throughout his career.
Yeah.
But I think as a Lakers fan, this obviously may not be for this year.
Feel better for Matty.
But man, you've now set yourself up again. You just run it back. You've got another.
That's the other part that sounds crazy to me about this is I have heard people say, "Oh, the Lakers, they're worse here now." They're different. I don't know if they're worse. If Luka and LeBron are each, if Luka's going to be dropping 32-point triple-double, and he's got LeBron riding shotgun with him, dropping a 25-point triple-double. I mean, that's going to be.
Sounds.
Yeah, the trade deadline is Thursday. If the Lakers go out and get some sort of serviceable starting center, they will be among 7 to 8 teams that I think could win a title. Without that big, I think they're going to probably run into some trouble along the way, but. Just a crazy, crazy trade.
That's the NBA.
I can't believe you would trade Luka Doncic without checking out the market on him. The only thing I can think of is that they were thinking about trading Luka. And we'll obviously get Rishaug's thoughts on all of this when he joins us. They were thinking about trading Luka. And essentially targeted AD as the guy they wanted. There would be no other reason to make this deal without letting it be known to a bunch of other teams who'd probably be willing to give you a first round, 6 first round picks, including a first rounder in 2034 or something to get this guy. So what a deal. Damn the NBA. If I had my Association City clip, I would play it right now, along with the Jack Hello.
People are saying no comparison in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Really no equivalent.
Yeah, I don't know if there is.
Scrape up one. Oh, Juan says Stu Skinner for Jonathan Quick.
Classic. Brelando says, guys, I said it's like the Maple Leafs trading Marner for McKinnon. I mean, that's a downgrade, but McKinnon, but Marner's still Anthony Davis. I know. I think the Mavs are ridiculous for trading Luka Doncic. And I think they could have got more somewhere else. But I can see why they think Anthony Davis would help their team right now.
Sure.
What was it last week? Weren't we talking about last week? He had 21 points and 11 rebounds in the first quarter of a basketball game.
It's like the Oilers bringing in Matthias Ekholm instead of Jacob Chikrin at the time.
That's something very similar.
Banging the drum for one thing, but then going out and getting something that actually addresses a need. Not necessarily sexier.
I don't know. What a deal. I cannot wait to see Luka and LeBron play together.
Again, I'm choosing to go the Michael Finley conspiratorial route. He was sniffing him too much. He was getting too close to that record.
If you missed this earlier today,
you're out of here.
Eric laid it out nicely. Michael Finley, the all-time See, the all-time, he's not number one. Dirk's got to be the all-time leader.
I'll get that.
In points. I don't know where Finley is, but Luka was on the verge of passing Michael Finley on the Mavs all-time scoring leaders list. And Finley is an assistant GM of Dallas, and we're claiming that he traded him just because he was worried he was going to pass him. That's one path to get in the mix for text of the day today. The real reason the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic.
We had some good ones early on in the
and then the other way to get in today is where else was Tommy pandering for votes outside of just Instagram, which has led to possible sanctions. There's been some good suggestions on that as well. Outside Canadian Tire, Fat Frank's dishing out flyers.
The flyers.
Yeah.
Doncic 300 points shy. Michael Finley standing of 12,389 franchise points. So I don't know where he ran, as you mentioned.
Okay,
Not the top,
I mean, Dirk's got to be
but he
well
was
beyond
catching
that,
up on him.
Yeah.
And Finley being the assistant GM for the Mavs said,
What a conspiracy
from inside the
theory.
house. Yeah,
that's terrific. Question number 2, guys. What do you think is the main driver between players being so eager to sign with the Double E this offseason?
Was that the text in?
It was
and
the text.
They said
It was a
president,
text.
owner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a soft between either Herv or Killam. And the project, we already heard when Killam was getting courted and ultimately hired that, players across the league were giving it a vote of confidence. He's very well liked and respected, albeit hasn't been a head coach yet. But I think Hervey's aggressiveness as well. So I think a combination of the two. It's a new day. Everybody kind of knew what you were getting into here. If you did sign here or didn't sign, I mean, the stank was pretty strong. There's almost like that, in a good way, though, this cheese is... The smokiness is just
double
great.
smoked.
This was a bad smoke coming out of this market, but either one of Herv or Killam. Maybe again, Herv's aggressiveness, Killam's likability and freshness, I guess, in that position. It is kind of funny, though, with all of these boatmen, especially on the defensive side, Demetrius Maxey might be the answer.
Like a bunch of Argos in.
Yeah, and I think, reading a few rider forums as well, Mace was thought to have had that pull. Coaching in Toronto as well. So kind of a power struggle there to getting all those Grey Cup champion Argos from the defensive side. And maybe the answer again outside of Hervey and Killam is one Demetrius Maxey.
Gazola's into the chat. Says so much draft whining today.
No whining
that's
here.
Funny. That's not a statement.
No whining here.
This guy's a champion.
Just celebrating. And what a win.
Very nice win. Very
Probably
nice
the
win.
least handsomest in that room, and I come away with the...
Is that your first win? First outright win since we started the drafts here?
Has it been?
Yeah, that's your first EST win.
And I have a confession. It's the draft I was looking forward to the least. I didn't really care about
It's
it.
funny how it works, eh?
Yeah, well...
And Tommy,
looseness.
a handsome man in the handsome man draft, had to pander for votes on Instagram.
I did tie one draft.
You did? Was that the one with Glue Guy? You guys tied that one?
Outright,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Down to the
That was
percentile.
2 drafts ago.
So a win and a half.
Yeah. Tommy was dressed up as Smash Smash, spinning a sign down 170th all weekend. If you did miss it, we laid it out with That Hurts for James H. Brown in the 6 o'clock hour today. It was a commissioner's decision. She took the vote to Instagram in addition to Twitter over the weekend. If it would have just been Twitter, Tommy would have been relegated on the 12.5% rule. But we include Instagram for the first time. And Friday night, Tommy gets spotted pandering for votes on Instagram, which we have not done. We usually, it's like as Glue Guy described it, a gentleman's agreement that we don't go on our social media platforms and say, hey, go vote for this guy here. Go vote for this guy here. So, we kind of called Tommy on it. In an admission of guilt, he took the post down. And the commissioner, Quinn Phillips, is now reviewing everything and said that there could possibly be sanctions coming.
A sly game from you as well, setting him up. He takes it down and admits guilt. It's just a gentleman's agreement. He didn't need to take it down. In the end, do you know what I mean?
he took it down.
He would have stressed the relationship between the gentleman's agreement, but it's not a hard rule. He didn't need to take it down. He just succumbed to the pressure because ultimately he got too guilty. He felt too guilty about it. Sly work.
What do you think the sanctions should be?
Or do you just want a flat out new commish?
Whoa!
I'm just saying a lot of people have been coming out of the draft and during the weekend. There was a lot of controversy.
The Georgia Satellite says Dirk is first in Dallas all-time scoring. Can you name 2 to 4? Oh, that's a good one.
I can't.
I think that somebody said Finley was 5th. Who would 2 to 4 be? Jason Kidd? Probably Jason Kidd. Sean Marion? Maybe a little bit of a deep reach with Sean Marion. I would think Jason Kidd has to be in there. Steve Nash didn't have enough time there.
No, it's the time, right?
Yeah. Got to be Kidd.
You're not. Yeah, it's.
Do you have the? Did you bring the list up?
Yeah.
Is Jason Kidd in there? Dallas Mavericks all-time leading
He's
scorers.
not in the top 10 in points here.
What?
You got Nowitzki, Rolando Blackman, Mark Aguirre.
Oh, yeah. I would have never got these
Derek
guys.
Harper at 4, Michael Finley at 5, Doncic 6, Jason Terry at 7, Brad Davis
Jason
8.
Terry was washed when he won a title.
Sam Perkins at 9, and Josh Howard at 10.
Would have never got that list. Ever in a million years.
That's...
Question number 3. What do you guys think becomes the most talked about topic of the week at Super Bowl?
For Super Bowl week.
Yeah, like I think they mean like the top storyline that develops.
How much are the refs gonna?
But you think that what everybody will be asking about? Don't you think it'll be? Don't you think it'll be the three-peat? I feel like three-peat's probably going to become the main topic.
I mean, there'll be people talking about Taylor Swift and complaining about her. There'll be people complaining about the Chiefs and the refs. There'll be people. The three-peat's a discussion point, but I think it does kind of get lost sometimes. Who are you be talking to? Man on the street? Gal on the street?
I think general buzz among media down there.
Media, yeah. The three-peat's a big one. I mean, that's history. They're not going to be talking about the officials, obviously.
Well, they should, but they won't. Three-peat. Do you see Travis Kelce got fined for taunting in the game against the Bills? And I was like, oh, no flag thrown on the play. When the broadcasters, even at the time, were like, ooh, Kelce taunting there.
I don't want to. I just don't want to.
It's so sad.
I'm just kind of.
It's so sad.
I'm looking past it now. It's funny that we're all saying there's a theme here, and we're all talking Chiefs. Nobody's talking at all about the Eagles.
I think number 1 would be three-peat. Number 2 will be how does Saquon change things from when these teams met two years ago.
Okay,
I think that's probably storyline number 2. Storyline number 3 that they'll be talking about in New Orleans will be the walk of shame Tommy's going to have to do as punishment at the Century Casino from one side of the lounge to the other.
I still like him serving us, and Atif's idea of Butler here at EST. He serves the entire Super Bowl, and he's just running off his feet.
Just a sweaty mess.
And it's shared tips. He doesn't get the tips directly to his pocket. It's shared between him, the front of house staff, the back house. I don't mind that. But yeah, I'm surprised you have him so low at number 3. I would have thought at least number 2.
No, I have number 3. Other people are saying, what about Taylor Swift, possible engagement?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's always going to be, those are the boring.
Swift, and I like Taylor Swift's music.
Hey, look, it's part of the NFL script.
Well,
that's why they have to have him in the game.
Is it? We've already done this Taylor Swift thing, so it shouldn't be a big deal anymore, right? It just shouldn't be a big deal anymore.
It's not to me, but I mean, people like to make it a big deal. They can't stand it.
LB over in the chat says, ideal matchup for Goodell is Kansas City Chiefs versus the Kansas City Chiefs. One team wearing white, one team wearing red, and the Chiefs go head to head. Just a flag fest the entire time. Oh, wow. Oh, I hope. Oh, boy. Tommy's on. Is Tommy on the hangout today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's me. It's Ionic, Tommy, myself, and the Merman.
Oh, my God. What a hangout. You're hopping in on that?
I was going to ask if I could bring the window
You should bring the window in. Wow, that's a great hangout today. All right, from 9 to 11
But I'm
today.
sure this will now take precedence.
Well, it has to now.
You're going to rank hangout conversations. This rockets to the top.
There's a lot to discuss.
You're just going back and forth with him?
No. It is. You are on this one. I think you have the chat muted. Do you not?
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. So Tommy just said,
he's on the full one.
Yeah. So the full.
We were doing
this
this on the draft.
We didn't want to bring this in.
He's making this public.
He says, so much draft whining today. No admission. He means no admission of guilt. That was just good faith. It's not good faith to go back on something that was anti-good faith in the first place. And then he says, Quinn's integrity should be under investigation.
No.
Whoa.
Now we're talking about getting a panel involved.
I wonder if Quinn is watching right now or listening. If not, somebody who knows her, please let her know that Tommy is questioning the commission's integrity.
Sounds like Tommy's on the take. Is Reed putting him up to this?
People were accusing him and Quinn of collusion after the whole plan to also mix in Instagram voting, which you've never done. And then Tommy manipulates the Instagram vote by pandering for votes.
But now Quinn's trying to get out from under it. Like she doesn't want.
And now Quinn is gonna.
It's blowing up in her face. And now she wants nothing to do with it.
Here's what she's gonna do. She's gonna say none of the Instagram votes count. Tommy's relegated. And she doesn't have to worry about him again.
She could really win herself. Yeah.
Hey?
Full reinstatement.
How would that work out? Penner's Pancake says, I do like the Butler idea for Tommy. He'd be like the one on Mr. Deeds. Very, very sneaky, sir.
Quinn the Commission, the nasty chat. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And then right under, fire Commish. Oh my God. What is happening right now? The drafts are just drama.
Commish out. I
don't get the hate for the Commish here. She's obviously different than a Wannick, but everybody, you didn't like a Wannick either. So what are you supposed to do?
Full reinstatement of Iwannick. Big Uke says every draft has had a talking point focused around the commish.
Changing 200.
Only 200? Come on, hammer the thumbs up. Tube Sock says Instagram has no place in an Edmonton Sports Talk draft, which I would agree with. I would have never suggested we go to Instagram.
The commish said she ran the numbers. Commish also chimes in unnecessary shots fired at the commish from Tommy. Commish's words. Yeah, so this is...
And then Reed Wilkins chimes in and says, I'm not putting anyone up to anything except trying to get Dustin to use the scroll more. I did use the scroll the other day when I was on their show. Let it be known from the scroll. Maybe I'll have the scroll for my greatest list of all time as I rank every player in the history of the league.
Was Tammy happy with your draft, though? I know that she had some thoughts as well.
She was very happy.
Okay, good.
We went through it when I got Friday night. We went through it.
But your performance overall.
She liked my draft.
But your performance overall. I mean, I know she...
Oh, yeah, no, she didn't listen back. But she liked my picks. She's like, it was a real good Patrick Swayze pick. I said, no, he was a handsome man.
Yeah.
She liked she liked my draft and your draft.
Mine.
I didn't mind Glue Guy's draft, and she wasn't a big fan of Tommy's draft, actually. So,
see, and this was Tommy's. Yeah, he's.
And now Tommy's just like the chat is. Oh, now Wannick's in. Classic Maddie. Wow, someone questioned the integrity of a commissioner. Who could have ever seen this coming? Are you going to reply full reinstatement?
Full reinstatement.
All right, look, Quinn's a commish. It's her call now. Quinn, let me know when you have your ruling ready. We'll have you on the show, and you can announce the sanctions, if there are any, against Tommy Gazzola for the Instagram pandering in the handsome man draft.
Amos Moses, Tommy's grasping at straws. His designer suits are dragging him under like cement boots on a guilty gangster. He can't swim. He can't get up. He's drowning in these.
Modern measure! You're taking me down. All right, we got Ryan Rishaug coming up on the other side. Lots to get to with the Oil coming up short against the Toronto Maple Leafs over the weekend. Marmot Basin Snow Report still to come, and the wrap for Willem Huff. We're rolling at you from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Brendan over there already setting up the hangout for what should be a glorious hangout today. Spicy time. Poor Murray McCourt, because he's like, I'm just going to want to rant about Skinner haters, and you guys are talking about all the other stuff. Oh, it's going to be good. Let's get to it.
Will be the happiest.
Yeah.
No commish heat.
No commish heat at all. Let's get to a sports update with Lieutenant Eric Ryan Rishaug, TSN Got Your Back podcast on the other side.
What an opening to the CFL tampering window yesterday was for the Edmonton Elks. They signed a boatload of players, including multiple Toronto Argonauts and Jake Serezna, Jared Brinkman, Robbie Smith, Royce Metier, receiver Keon Julian Grant, Canadian defensive back Terrell Ford from the Bombers. Canadian offensive lineman David Beard rejoins the club from the Ticats. Elks also signing Niles Morgan and Brett Boyko. Over to the NBA. The mammoth deal over the weekend when the Mavs shipping Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, followed up by the Kings finalizing a trade. They'll be sending De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs and acquiring Bulls guard Zach LaVine as part of a 3-team deal involving multiple players and picks. The NBA trade deadline will fall on Thursday. The Raptors, meanwhile, 115-108 over the Clippers yesterday. Toronto will get set to host the Knicks tomorrow. Over to the NHL, where the Oilers will hit the road for a brief road trip beginning tomorrow in St. Louis against the Blues. The Blues last night snapping a 4-game slide with a 2-1 win over Utah. Just one game in the NHL tonight, and they'll see the Predators at home to the Ottawa Sit and Sleep is currently offering a winter clearance event from massive discounts on major sleep brands to unbeatable deals on Canadian-made custom furniture. Our winter clearance event is your chance to transform your home at a fraction of the cost. Plus, enjoy perks like free local white glove delivery and special financing offers that make it even easier to bring home the best. Visit us today in South Common next to Planet Fitness.
Timberlake rocks.
Is that a mandate of yours?
God, what are we talking about here? Good question. Can some of it be about sports? Yeah. All he needs to do is just get in front of people and state his case. If they had the mandate from the people, blah, 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 I don't know where that information came from, but I would question it.
Time for the morning mandate with Ryan Rishaug.
This is what sports broadcasting is all about.
You know what? That may be a good point, Ryan. You broke the story, Ryan.
Rishaug is one giant 6'2" pile of Charmin.
It is the Nielson Show at 8:33 on a Monday. And look, the fun rolls on. The Nielson Show brought to you by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. Marmot Basin Snow Report still to come. The wrap for William Huff locked and loaded here as well. Ryan Rishaug from TSN and the Got Your Back podcast. He is going to join us. We'll dive into the Oilers and Leafs for sure. But Ryan Rishaug is a man of high integrity, and we got to bring him in the loop here on this Gazzola thing. So let's start there. Let's bring in Ryan Rishaug this morning. Shoggy, let me bring you up to speed, okay?
What did he do now?
Well, we had a handsome man draft on Friday. And
how'd Parker do?
You know what? He did get an honorable mention after. We did say, not enough name recognition in the market, but yeah, so we did give him some love. So the commissioner, Quinn Phillips, decides that we're going to take the vote to Instagram as well as Twitter for the first time ever. And Friday night, I look on Tommy's Instagram story, and he's basically telling people, go vote for my team, go vote for my team, go vote for my team, when we've always kind of had a gentleman's agreement that we don't push. We like the whole thing's done generically when it gets posted on Twitter, team 1, team 2, team 3. So we try to get an unbiased vote. So I called Tommy on it. We had a big discussion Friday night in the group chat. Then he took the post down. I viewed it kind of as an admission of guilt. But what do you think of Tommy breaking this gentleman's agreement, pandering for Instagram votes? And by the way, his Twitter vote was 12%, which would have got him relegated out of the draft. What'd you say he was up to at one point on Instagram? Like 32, 33%?
30s, yeah.
So a drastic difference. Your thoughts on how he handled the situation?
Well, first and foremost, did he draft himself?
No, he went in the 8th round. Jason Milne took him.
So he went in the 8th round. Tom Gazzola went in the 8th round of the Handsome Man draft?
First member of the media locally off the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So just understanding the situation here. Well, congratulations first and foremost to Tom for resisting the temptation to draft himself in the first or second round.
He had first overall pick. We said
that's growth.
It's a great
I think we would all agree that that's growth with Tom. So I'll maybe go a little bit easier on him. He was able to hold the hubris at bay. Now, the fact that he went to social media advocating for people to choose his team, I would say that Tom would fancy himself somewhat of an expert on handsome people. I would say so. The desperation to win this draft might be different than that of others, and we should keep that in mind. There would be a certain level of pride that would come with Tom Gazzola saying, I won the Handsome Man draft. He wouldn't give people any more detail than just that.
Yeah.
Right? I won the handsome person draft. So, yeah, I think that this came from not a great place, and I would probably hit him pretty hard. I think take him down a peg. I'm okay with him being taken down a peg.
Well, and he's calling Commissioner Phillips' integrity into question here as well. So
what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. Buddy.
He's messing with Quinn.
He's messing with Quinn.
Yeah, time to shut him down.
Yeah.
No. You do not mess with Quinn Phillips. I'm not okay with that. So, yeah. I will throw the entire weight of my significant Instagram following, none, in protest of that. Tom's letting it slip, though, lately, you guys. I would say probably 2 to 3 times in the last month, he has shown up not in a full suit to practice. And that is Tom letting it slip. He's starting to dress like a podcaster, and I've told him that. He does not love it when I say that.
He's going to hate that when he comes in today. He's going to be like, damn, Rishaug, you hear what he said? That's kind of funny, actually.
I'll throw that out at him just because I love the reaction. You're dressing like a podcaster, Tom. It's not a podcast. Not a podcast.
Shoggy, Oilers Leafs.
Love you, Tommy.
Tough,
boy.
Tough first period. And I don't know, what's the reaction like on Got Your Back with Skinner? Because like
people wanted to talk about him.
Yeah.
Right. That was something that people like like Zuby, our behind the scenes brilliant magician, said, listen, guys, before we start the show, I'm not sure if you're planning on talking about Skinner or not, but the people clearly want to, because people in the waiting room were getting into it and debating it and such. So, yeah, I would say that people want to talk about it, but I don't know how you handle it, Dusty. Like, I'm happy to talk about Skinner on a game-to-game basis. You know, was there one or two he might have liked back where there's some rebounds? For sure. That's 100%. All fair game and everything. What I don't waste time with on my show is some prolonged discussion about Stuart Skinner and the likelihood that the Oilers are going to need to upgrade their goaltending. Yeah. I don't waste time with that because it's just not a reality. So, yes, game to game, we'll talk about him. There was some discussion about him the other night for sure. Wasn't the biggest problem that they had by a mile. But we just don't spend a ton of time talking big picture. He will be their goaltender heading into the playoffs. There will be no upgrade.
He's their guy.
There's no need for an upgrade. And so we just kind of don't waste a lot of time with that.
What was their biggest issue against the Maple Leafs? Outside, I mean, is it easy enough to just say, man, when they don't have Matthias Ekholm, it's pretty glaring, or was there more to it?
Yeah, I just got a text from Gazzola that was not good. This could be problematic for Tommy and I. Tommy, I got to be my true self. I got to speak my truth on this one, but you do not mess with Quinn Phillips. Biggest issue. So here's what I did not like about this. So you don't have Matthias Ekholm. That's going to be difficult. And it definitely reared its head on the penalty kill, right? We see it. Troy Stetcher standing in front of the net where Ekholm would likely be getting boxed out by a bigger body. It's not ideal. The penalty kill really struggled without him. He's first over the boards with Ty Emberson. It's been a strength for this team. So that's definitely an issue. I thought the blue line really struggled early in that game. I think the whole team didn't do a great job puck management wise for the first, 8, 10, 12 minutes. There were lots of turnovers and such, but I thought the blue line in particular, and, Struds doesn't love this when we point out the blue line specifically because his motto in life is never trust a forward.
Yeah.
But I thought, so you have a tough fall from Klingberg there leads to a grade A. You have turnovers by Emberson, some odd plays from Evan Bouchard. I just thought the D was shaky on a night where, and to me, I would think let's use Bouchard, for example, on a night where Matthias Ekholm isn't in the lineup. Right. That's where you have to steel yourself and say, hey, if there was ever a night where I got to come out and make sure it's tonight. And I thought they came out, Bouchard and others were really shaky without Matthias Ekholm there. And I thought it hurt them early on. And then they played well after that. And Bouchard had a good game. He had the goal and almost was able to put it in at the end there. So I'm not going to pile on about the whole night. I just would have liked to have seen a little more gamesmanship given their most important defenseman wasn't in the lineup. So everybody else buckle down and step up, and they didn't in the early going of that game. That's what I didn't like.
TSN's Ryan Rishaug from the Got Your Back podcast joining us. I want to let you know as well, your buddy there on the pod, Jason Strudwick, I did select on my team draft board, and I ended up taking the draft. So you can, a feather in his cap, I guess.
He was one of the local members of the media. Who was it? It was Tony Brar, Struddy.
Oh.
Yeah. And I took... And I had to have it worded properly. Young Bob Stauffer when he looked like Tom Cruise. Oh. That was my selection.
You know who I forgot to mention to you guys as a bit of a sleeper pick. Like he's prim and proper, and he dresses well. He dresses sharp. He dresses efficient. His hair is always on point.
Preston
square
Hodgkinson.
jaw. Huh?
Preston Hodgkinson.
Who? No. Slav Kornick as a sleeper.
He got
Slav
mentioned.
came up. He got mentioned after. We're like, I can't believe we didn't take Slav.
I forgot to mention him when you guys asked me for my suggestions.
Great
I forgot to. I saw Slav that day, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
that's a well-coiffed, handsome fellow. I should have thrown his name in there."
He's
Sorry,
well
Slav.
put together for sure.
Ryan, I did though want to get to the.
He probably would have gone before Tom. Sorry, go
another
ahead.
name off the board, though, when it comes to the Oilers in a pursuit of a defenseman in Marcus Pettersson going to the Canucks. We kind of bandied it around the horn here. Should Oilers fans be concerned with, a month away from trade deadline, names continue, to just get, I guess, whittled away from if you do have a target board for blue line help for this team. But what level, if at all, any level, should Oilers fans be concerned?
Well, I wouldn't be concerned about names falling off the board at this point. I think, Pettersson for sure was somebody that would have been in the mix, I think. I think the Oilers need clarity on how much cap space they're actually going to be able to spend.
Yeah.
So jumping right now at something, I think would be a mistake, unless it's so obvious, unless you just get clunked over the head with the most obvious trade ever. So they need to find out what they have in Clintberg. They need to find out what they have in cap space. And when they know those two things, they'll be in perfect position to add what this team needs to get itself over the hump. Because here's the thing. If they need a second pairing defenseman, then it's going to be hard to go get a top 6 forward that can score a little bit. If they need a number 5 defenseman that can maybe push a little bit, then that leaves you a little bit more to spend up front. I think it's really important for them to know what they have in Clintberg and know what money they have and carefully craft their trade deadline to meet their needs here. Because, as this goes on, I can't help but think that some help up front, and I'm not sure what they're going to have in Evander Kane when he comes back. So I think I'm okay with a patient approach at this point, though I get the trepidation from Oiler fan.
We haven't seen a lot of Clintberg yet, but what have you thought of what you have seen so far?
Yeah, so this was unpopular to say, and I kind of heard about it because I said it on SportsCenter after the game. He made the mistake at the end and allowed himself to go offside. That's a timing issue for a guy that's barely played. Had the fall in the first couple minutes of the game. They gave one of their most dangerous offensive players in the game a straight up look. So there were a couple of moments that weren't great, but that is somewhat to be expected. I would say with no Matthias Ekholm, John Clintberg, he ate over 20 minutes. He's in no position to be eating 20 minutes.
That's
right
a lot
now.
of minutes early. You're right.
Yeah, he should not be expected. Tom, just walk in.
Yeah, Tommy just walked in, gave us all the side-eyed look.
Yeah. Yeah. Goodness sakes. Quinn's not even there to defend herself.
No, she's not. She will at some point, though, I'm sure. Yeah.
No, but bottom line, I would say the returns through 2 games have actually been pretty good for a guy that hasn't played. 20 minutes was a big bite for him. That was a good team they were playing with good players. And I thought he acquitted himself for the most part pretty well. Showed some really nice puck moving.
Yeah, you can see the flashes of what he does well, right? You can see the flashes of what he does well. So
for sure, if you want to circle those 2 moments and sort of start to be skeptical, I think that would be premature of you. Would be what I would say. I think through 2 games, the body of work has been as expected, if not even maybe a little bit better for a guy that has not played at all for the last year and a half or whatever it is.
Shoggy, before I let you go, let's just flip over here to the football team for a second because legal tampering window opened over the weekend, and Ed Hervey signed 8 guys.
It's his window.
He brought back Jake Serezna. He got Trey Ford's twin brother, who's a phenomenal Canadian cornerback. David Beard's coming back on the offensive line. They managed to keep Niles Morgan. He brought in 8 guys, 5 of them Canadian, kept Niles Morgan. That was a quick turnaround here for Hervey. But the fact that these guys, after the organization's been a train wreck for a few years here under Chris Jones, the fact that these guys are hopping on this opportunity, I think has to have people pretty excited about what Hervey and Killam are at least saying and selling to these guys.
Well, for sure. What do we know about Edmonton, right? The facilities are excellent for the team. They've got great setup there for the team. And they've got guys now in place. They've basically completely turned over the upper portion of the organization. And the messaging, people feel like a change is coming in Edmonton, and that's what has been needed. So, I understand that there were issues with how much you could pay executives, and they needed somebody that could do 12 jobs all at once. I get it. They should have hired Ed Hervey back when they hired Chris Jones.
Yeah,
Ed Hervey, to me, this is overdue. I'm not at all surprised that it was a running start for Ed Hervey. This is what he does. He is incredibly aggressive. He knows what he wants. He goes directly at it. He doesn't BS. And so, it was a good day. There'll be some bumps along the way for sure, but I think the things that they are doing and saying in those media conferences, I think that's exactly the approach they're taking behind the scenes too. It's that direct, it's that blunt, it's that bold. And I think people are willing to get on board with that. So it was a good day, and it showed that there is faith in this organization from people that would have otherwise had lots of options. these people that they're signing would have had options, and they've made the choice. So it was a big day for him.
Hey, I have to address a text that I got here when we brought you on.
Sure.
Gager says you gave him the middle finger while driving, and it ruined his Friday.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the middle. Oh, was it the middle finger? Oh, yeah, I did flip him the bird. it was awkward, though, because I didn't know what to do. So
Like
I'm driving along.
Like a friendly bird or whatever.
Yeah, it was like scratching the side of my cheek bird, like ha ha ha, because I didn't really know what to do. Here's the thing. I'm driving, didn't even know Gager was in my vicinity, and all of a sudden I get this weird feeling, and I look over my shoulder, and this is what I see from Joaquin Gage, just like this, just smiling at me like this weird, creepy smile. And I was like, oh, neat, it's Gager. So then I was like, yeah, I kind of waved, and then I kept driving, and then I looked over, and he was still just like staring at me. And I'm like, dude, look at the road. Like, look at the road. His gaze was locked on me. So I gave him just out of instinct, I gave him the bird while I scratched my cheek thing. I malfunctioned a little bit.
He says
drive safely, Gager.
Said he ruined his day. So
yeah, it was too long. Like, I think if you see someone you're driving, like, when you're driving, it's like, hey, yeah.
It's awkward to
what
see
are
him
the
again
chances?
right away after, though. Yeah.
Yeah, like, what are the chances? But like 10 seconds later, still just like looking at me. It got weird. Sorry, Gager. I love you.
All right, Shoggy. Good catching up, man. We'll do it again next Monday.
Yeah, sounds awesome. See you guys. I'll be at the Four Nations next Monday. Am I traveling that day? Yeah, touch base with me this week, Dusty. I'll get you my travel schedule.
Okay.
Yeah,
right,
sounds good.
buddy. There you go. That's Ryan Rishaug. We have to get him on because he has to break down Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl.
As per tradition,
that's a big thing. That's a big thing for him.
Yeah, it wasn't the full Clark Griswold, right? In Christmas Vacation, that's a finger. That's one of the best.
Hey kids, what's that?
That finger was what a statement finger.
Tommy, how you doing? He's fine.
He's fine.
Tommy, I have a lot of things to say. It's gonna be a great hangout today. God, I can't wait. Hangout coming up right at 9:00. Tommy, Maddie, Murray, and Ericy. They'll be rolling here from 9 to 11 today. I'll be back with the Log Shop, myself, Jake, and Pat. All three of us will be settling in from 11 to 12, start to set up Super Bowl week, recap the weekend. Obviously, a huge trade in the national football or in the NBA going down over the weekend. All right. Oh man, I don't have the snow report music. What do you guys usually do when I'm not here?
Oh,
for the snow
Trev's
report?
got something like.
Trev,
we use a different bed.
You got a different bed for the snow report?
It's not the same, but it's right.
There's got to be something in there.
I think it's labeled as heavy riser. Dude.
What?
Where is it?
Well,
no, it's okay, buddy. We'll just get rolling. We're practicing getting out on time today.
Oh, there it is. Okay, ready.
Okay, give it to me. Jeez. Hey, I've heard this somewhere else. Okay, bring it down a little bit. I'm stoked. Are you stoked? Stoked. 5 inches of freshie on top. Snow report, Marmot Basin. Check them out, skimarmot.com. Last 24 hours, 0.1 centimeters. Last 3 days, oh boy. Last 3 days, 15 centimeters of the fresh stuff. Snow base is at 76. Season total is at 179 now. Great weekend they had up there. Just looking at it, things will be rolling again at 9 o'clock this morning. And we got 10 runs that were groomed last night. Man, they got a lot going on up at Marmot. This is crazy. SkiMarmot.com for all the deals, tickets, passes, lessons, rentals. Plan your visit. A little bit about the mountain in Jasper at SkiMarmot.com.
Must have been taken off the mailing list here this morning.
We didn't get the email today.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but I think what happened here is Brian probably returned from vacation.
Yeah.
Kelsey from last week thought he was going to take it over, and that's it.
I think Ed Hervey also acquired Kelsey.
She's not there anymore. She's not there anymore. She's
another one's.
She's going to work for the Double E.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the wrap. For William Huff, if you want your place to look as good as ours, I got one website for you. www.williamhuff.com. They've been doing it since 1952. Not necessarily the website, but their business in general.
Yeah.
And look at our wall right here. This is just a plain old white wall. And now look at it. It's a blue wall with logos on it. because of William Huff.
And it's taking some. I mean, it's
taking some damage.
Tough shows in here. Like we don't. But
I mean, look at that. That's Eric's or Trev's
lasts.
tape job up there.
Yeah.
It's hanging in there.
Very durable.
It's hanging in there. Looks pretty nice.
The old Butte.
Yeah, means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce, you've done it again. All right, boys. What did we learn on the show today?
Another signing. Not by the Elks, though.
No.
Just in the CFL. Lofton to the Bombers, the offensive lineman.
Eric Lofton.
A little bit of movement. Man, that crop of receivers, though, out there. Hatcher released from the Lions, too. Like, they're going to have a totally
Kenny
revamped
Lawler's
receiving.
still kicking around.
Who's Rook going to be throwing the ball to?
Do you think the Elks bring in another receiver? Like another decent name?
I think you could. Not a top. I like the group they have. I like kind of receiver by group. I having that strong 1A. I mean, I understand that, but at the price point some of them are demanding, why bother? Go out and get a good collection of guys with something to prove.
How much do you think Hatcher is?
Too much.
Think so?
And like, there's injury issues. Like, it's just I don't know. A lot of these guys, I don't know. It's sexy, but I'd
chance for somebody else to emerge from the pack. Huh?
Sure, absolutely.
Trev, what'd you learn today, buddy?
I learned Jason Kidd is not top 10 Maverick.
You
in
did learn
scoring
that,
all
yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Very surprising.
What a list it was, eh?
And I learned all those players. I didn't know any of them.
I mean, I love the league. I didn't know like 5 of those guys on that list.
Yeah.
They'll never be spoken of again.
We also learned that you're on Crackers meat and cheese duty for tomorrow.
Yeah, and your guys are going to be in for a treat.
He said he's going to blow away my double cheddar Ritz with the double smoked cheddar cheese.
Well, I'm going
and the
all
garlic sausage.
I'm going all Italian center. Spare no expense there.
Wow.
Now, are we?
What a treat.
Gentlemen's agreement. Are we only limiting this to cheese, some sort of meat, and a cracker? Or
I think that's what we originally said.
But if I show up here with a vegetable on top, I mean, are we gonna toss the plate in the garbage?
Do I have the option to not have the vegetable if it's something I don't like?
I guess, but
right. I don't want to have a jalapeno or something.
You're in for it. You trust me. I mean, I won't lead you astray.
Can you make mine plain?
I'll give you a cracker.
Well, no,
with
cracker meat and
butter
cheese.
on top.
There's a cracker meat and cheese thing,
look,
right?
I will not. I want to enjoy this just as much as I want to see you enjoy it. So I'm not going to be putting pickled artichoke hearts on top or anything like that.
What are you going to put on there, though? What do you think?
Well, again, the Italian Center has some stuff that I think some real backcourt players.
You're not going to do cilantro, are you?
No. Trev, I think maybe like an olive or something like that.
Well, guys, I don't do olives.
I don't really do too well with olives.
Guys,
it's 0 for 2 on the
some
olives.
Good stuff there.
That's the only vegetable I don't like. Jalapeno?
Eric, Trev, be quiet.
Well, you get your day, right?
Yeah.
We'll all have our day.
Okay.
It'll be great.
Horrible
I want
idea.
you to eat it.
I'm gonna get
come
tricked
on.
into eating this stuff.
Give me you won't get tricked into anything.
Well, maybe.
Look, if you don't want it, more for me. I understand that.
All right, let's get to your sound of the day today. This one kind of popped up from the Reed Wilkins show board.
Yeah.
Hey? This is the sound of the day right here.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
You could almost make that work for the Mavericks trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers.
Yeah.
This is what Dave Jamieson thinks about the Lakers getting Luka.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
That's a pretty good clip, man. I've heard them play these other ones. I don't know if I've heard that one much.
This is like an anaconda taking down a pig.
Oh, J-Mo. What a beauty. More
They'll be like you on the crackers tomorrow.
More Dave Jamieson, the better, hey? I think that's
absolute.
We're 41 likes away from changing 300. It's been a steady diet of changing 300s here. You know why people are just sad because of the loss to the Leafs?
Oh.
It's okay.
Look,
they're still in first.
The Broberg Holloway Kapanen Bowl tomorrow.
That'll get you going. That'll get you going. Hammer the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube before we sign off. Turn on autoplay too. It'll take you right on over to the...
Olives can be used as a meat substitute in some dishes.
Yeah. Just fire me a text and I'll just be sick tomorrow morning. How's that sound?
You.
Jody over the Nasty Chat says, speaking of Reed, he's going to be very happy when they announce the Edmonton Rock Festival lineup on February 10th. Def Leppard coming?
Did someone say rocks? Oh.
Def Leppard.
No, not rocks. Rock music, Trev.
Yeah, I think Jess Jackson will have more of that on the Bear.
Of course she will.
She's got that all covered.
Just like Yukon and McCord every single morning on 100.3 The Bear. Jess Jackson on the way home. Let's get to your text of the day today for A&W. You want to find Amos Moses? Yeah, bring him on. That was a pretty good text.
Yeah,
he was on fire today.
Yeah, he was feeling it.
Sink your teeth into savings with A&W's new $6 Buddy Bundle. For a limited time, get your choice of the Buddy Burger with cheese or the hot and crispy Chicken Buddy Burger, plus small fries and a drink, all for just $6. That's right. Burger, crispy fries, cold drink, $6. Who says you can't have it all? Come on down to A&W and grab a Buddy Bundle today. Available in restaurants and on the A&W mobile app for a limited time. Tomorrow's game day, which means you'll get the Mumber Burger and fries for $5.
So Amos had 5 texts from this morning. The latest was hashtag Brundon for commish. Is
Okay, not that one. That's not the one.
Tommy should be relegated to wear Walmart tracksuits for a month as punishment for his underhanded tactics.
I don't think that's it either.
Tommy's handsomeness is a facade. He's been faking it for years. He's wearing an earpiece, sending him fashion tips from his old Oilers TV wardrobe people. Hashtag fanzone.
That one was pretty good.
Tommy's handsome. Yeah, facade is that again. Okay, and I think this is one you're looking for here. I wanted to read them all. Tommy's grasping at straws. His designer suits are dragging him under like cement boots on a guilty gangster.
That's the one.
You guilty
That's
gangster.
the text of the day for A&W. You
Sleep with the
guilty
fishes.
gangster.
Sleep with the fishes.
Careful. The cobbler's going to get you.
Good faith. Good faith.
What was good faith? It was like an admission of guilt. You can't claim it's good faith when it went against good faith in the first place. Pandering to the whining. So you're all about pandering on Friday then, I guess. To the whining and for the votes.
I don't think going back on a gentleman's agreement is good faith.
Whatever happened to a good old-fashioned gentleman's agreement?
Gentleman's agreement.
Now we have to put in this,
now we have to
this
have a
policy.
hard law.
That's like you can't tell people to go vote for your team in back-to-back posts. There's all that stuff. Murray, you don't know what you're walking into, Murray. Murray just comes in. Say it, guys.
Talk about that Spurs deal.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for the Nielsen show today. There's only one game in the NHL tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get enough work done that maybe Tam and I can bang out another episode of Landman. I'm loving that Landman.
The Landman.
It's a good show.
Yeah, Senators third in the div, hey? Feeling some heat from the Red Wings.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Sens are right in the thick of it here. It's pretty impressive. All right, I'm going to get this audio figured out on my computer for tomorrow. We'll get that sorted out. Weird today. I'll talk to you about it after, Matty. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hangout's coming up. We've got, for YouTube, Trev, Lieutenant Eric. I am Dustin Nielson. The Lakers have Doncic, which blows my mind. I'll be back in the lock shop, probably talking about that a little bit more. Take it easy.